Ball facts coming back at you again, guys. And we're gonna give you those facts. I haven't used that line in a long time, but I figured I'd use it today. You know, I'm in I'm at the crib. Let me see, I haven't been live for a minute, so I figured I'd go live with you guys and see what was going on. See, we up here, we good, we good. So today the show, we talking about, are these Hornets ready? Are they really ready for the play-in? I mean, they had a good season. They had a decent season, I'll say, better than last because they got more wins than losses. But it's a lot of inconsistency with this team. A whole lot of inconsistency. I want to talk a little bit. Oh, I also want to put the link in the chat so you guys can join and tell me if you think the Hornets are ready and what they're going to need to do because the play-in is set. You know, we got the Cavs, we got the Nets, we got the Hornets, we got the Hawks. Now, these four teams that are there, these are not trash teams. These are not trash teams at all. These are sleeper teams that can come up and destroy you. And they talking about Ben Simmons might be ready in the playoffs. Like, what's really going on? We got to talk about this. Let me go ahead and get this copy to clipboard. Yeah, I can drop that in the chat. We're going to drop that right in the chat. Shout out to Daniel, Kayana10. Yeah. We dropping the StreamYard link. Let me get back to this. But they had a good game today. They look like they're feeling it. Lamelo Ball is hit a stride. And what we haven't really seen is, well, we haven't seen Lamelo in playoff mode at his professional level. Well, I mean, we actually seen it in the JBA, but we talking about grown man Melo. We talking about over 18 years old, getting it in. So I got a feeling that LaMelo Ball is definitely going to come and he's going to bring it. But what do the Hornets need to do? The Hornets need to do. Now, Isaiah Thomas, a lot of people were a little bit skeptical about him coming there. Even me, even though I like IT, I didn't want him to mess up the locker room or the chemistry. But obviously, this dude has brought something to the team that they could use. He knows how to play his position. If Isaiah Thomas is sitting on the bench, he's cool with that. You know what I mean? Then when he comes in, he make it happen. And we need that because Terry Rozier, don't get me wrong, Terry Rozier, he's a good player. I like Terry a lot. But he's become streaky this year, in my opinion. Last year, he wasn't as streaky. This year, you know what I'm saying? He'll be good, great 2 quarters, horrible 2 other quarters, and you need somebody like Isaiah Thomas to come pick up the slack for him. But the Hawks, Trae Young, like you can't really count Trae Young out. You can't really count him out. Look at the records, 43-39, 43-39. So we're pretty evenly matched. Trae Young is definitely going to be a liability on the defensive end, but some would argue LaMelo is as well. And I kind of get that with the on ball. But as far as getting in the passing lanes and all those things, you know, LaMelo, he's a better defender than Trae Young, just because of not only because of his size, but because of his instincts as well. And this is how I feel about them, the Hornets. In a 7-game series, I can think of a lot of teams that can beat the Hornets because they're not consistent. They have lapse in judgment, and sometimes they get up and down with emotions. But when we're talking about just one game, I feel like the Hornets could defeat any team in the NBA in one game. I mean, we've seen them do it. Like, look at the Bulls. Lonzo, he hasn't been there, but when he was there to when he's not there, every time they play a top team, the Bulls, they lose. That's not the case with the Hornets. They beat the Bucks. They beat the Nets. So this is a dangerous team when let loose, especially when you let loose with LaMelo. So that's what they're really going to have to do. They're really going to have to open up the floodgates and just give him the keys because the Hornets are not really ready this year to go win a championship. At least I know that. They're not ready to win a championship. But LaMelo Ball is the wild card. We know what he's capable of just by seeing spurts. When they played the Bulls the other day, LaMelo was playing like an MVP for the first quarter. Yes, LaMelo was playing like a freaking MVP. But, you know, and then once they got ahead, they didn't even need him anymore for the game. He didn't even score in the second half. So I really put them on making sure that they come like to the table saying, LaMelo, run the show. Be free, do what you got to do, go out there, do everything you got to do, and we're gonna ride your coattails. You don't want to go into these playoff atmospheres to me. And I made a video about this when LaMelo talked about the keys. That pecking order, I don't want to see LaMelo Ball doing this in these playing games, because we need to just give it to one person, let them understand, like, we're riding with you, Melo. This is what we're going to do. We're going to ride with you, and then you come through for us. Make the best decisions. You already see what he's doing with the averages, averaging the assists, the rebounds. He's all over the place. And Terry Rozier ended up averaging more than him by a little bit. And then on the points, and I think Plumlee averaged more on the rebounds. Yeah, like 7.7 or something like that. But this playing tournament, Trae Young has the keys. They ride or die with Trae Young. And that's why even last year I felt like the Hawks are not that good of a team, but they're sold with their game plan. You're going to live and you're going to die by Trae Young. And in those clutch moments, we seen what Trae Young could do. He can get hot, get chilly, ice Trae. So I think we need to let LaMelo be able just to run the show and feel free. And we haven't seen him messing with his wrist lately. We haven't seen a lot of these. We just seen him looking solid and ready to go. Let me shout out to people in the chat, because there's a lot of people here and I haven't said hi to everybody. Tyler, Maury, Sam, Molter, Recap Rico, what's good, everybody? You're right on that, Daniel. JB holds Melo back. Yeah. And it's like at the most inopportune times to me that I see. It's not that LaMelo gets benched per se. Like, LaMelo is getting benched to me at the wrong times, and he's sitting for too long. When you see him hot as a firecracker, tell him, like, this is what you need to ask him. Are you tired? If he says no, say, we're going to let you go until you die right now. And that's what Melo said in a previous interview. Are you tired, Melo? And Melo going to say no. Let him get out there until he fizzes out. We know sometimes he can be hot, he can be cold. But then if you sit him when he's hot and he comes back in, a lot of times he be cold. That's just what I see. But if you see this man going out there going crazy, just hand him the keys, get back, and let's go. But I'm telling you guys, the Charlotte Hornets better pick one person to lean on in the play-in. This is not, just no regular season games. This is a playoff atmosphere. You lose, you go home. So it's win or go home. And they got to the 10th spot, so they're in the worst spot that you can be. They got to win 2 games. So first they got to beat the Hawks. Then they're either going to have to play the Cavs or Brooklyn. Now, I believe they're going to have to play the Cavs, because the Cavs that kind of recently got injured and they missed that one guy. But it doesn't matter. If they play the Cavs or Brooklyn, it's going to be a tough game. You're going to have to ride with Melo, ride or die with him. That's how I'm saying. Ride or die with Melo. And I know that I believe that they can get to the playoffs. Now, winning in a 7-game series, to me, that's not all on Melo. That's going to be a lot on JB. That's a lot on the coach. But in a 1-game series, you can't tell me that this brother cannot go out there and win them a game. I know he can do that. Let me go ahead and drop the link in the chat again. If any of you guys want to get on here, talk to me about what you think the Hornets need to do to win in the play-in, even get into the playoffs. We're going to talk about Melo's season. This kid is still the one that they said, his shot was messed up. He's not going to be able to translate that shot in the NBA. And he's the youngest player to hit 300 threes in the NBA. So right away, he's coming in breaking records, and they can't really set a mold on him. They don't know what LaMelo Ball's ceiling is. Really, we don't know what his ceiling is. But as they say, sky is the limit for LaMelo Ball. Shout out to Sam, Hornets basketball. Have y'all noticed since Melo dropped the Slam article, it's like he on a different level? Tyler Murray said, yeah. And I believe that too. I believe that LaMelo is like, he ready to back up whatever he says. And he dropped that Slam interview and he says, I want the keys. Then right after that, we see him revving that bad boy up. If you have not watched that video I dropped about LaMelo Ball wanting the keys in Charlotte, go ahead and watch that. That video is right on point, straight fire. Okay, now I want to go back to, let's see. LaMelo Ball, 20 years old. And you saw the list they dropped today of the 20-year-olds. Oh, yeah, let me bring my bro up in here. Let's add him to the stream. Let's go. Flight Sports TV, what's good, bro?
What's going on, Ball Facts? How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good. Feeling dandy. How you doing?
I can't call it, man. It's an honor to be on the show with you, man. Let's work, man. The Hornets, man, it's all set in stone now, right?
Likewise. I mean, it's supposedly set in stone. You think they're gonna make it out the play-in or what?
I definitely think they're gonna get it out the play-in, man. The Hawks are gonna be a formidable opponent. It won't be easy, but I think that they're gonna definitely get them. I got them knocking out the Hawks, man. I think the Hawks, they had a fluky season a season ago. They've come back to life. The Hornets, man, I think they're gonna surprise some people because the world don't really know the collect. They know some people know about Melo. I still don't think the national spotlight know about Melo talent just about yet. I don't think the proper homage was paid. Also, I don't think that they know about the collection of talent that the Hornets have, like the Bridges of the world, the Roziers, the Oubres. They got some talent here, and I think they could definitely knock off the Atlanta Hawks, man. I'm very confident. What about you?
No, I definitely think they could knock off the Hawks. And I honestly they believe they could knock off any team with just one game. You know what I'm saying? The 7-game series is different, but this team likes to get up and run. And once they catch fire, it's contagious. And like I said, if they let Lamelo Ball just weather the storm, if he's gonna make some turnovers, if he's gonna make some bad shots, just understand like that actually motivates him to go to the next level. You can watch that. If Lamelo has a couple bad plays, he doesn't need a coach to get in his ear to tell him, you know what I'm saying, pick it up. He picks it up on his own. And I truly believe that, Trae Young, even though he's cold as ever, he's going to be a liability on defense. And I think LaMelo could expose him. And you've seen what he did his rookie year, just back that boy down. So, you know what I'm saying? LaMelo, that's the matchup to watch. If they give LaMelo just the freedom to just go ahead and drop 30 on Trae Young's head, you know what I'm saying? So that's
Right.
where I'm at with the Hawks. Who else we got in here? Jason Triplet, what's good?
Not much, but my biggest concern when it comes to the Hornets is that last year, with the Pacers, how they got down and they just continued to just keep themselves down. That's their biggest problem is getting leads and then letting them go.
That's a fact. I feel like the Hornets gave up that
hmm
game. I honestly, if you go back and watch that game, it looked like Melo was the only one dialed in to the end. He was trying to win, and I believe that the Hornet squad as a whole were like, we're not going to do anything in the playoffs. Let's just go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Cancun. That's what it
hmm
felt like to me. And I think the energy this year is different. I believe they're beginning to believe. But I don't know what you think, Flight. You think it's going to be the same as last year with the Pacers, or what?
Do I think who's last year with the Pacers?
Remember the Hornets in the play when it got to the end of the season?
In the play-ins with
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah.
Pacers.
You said, do we think we're gonna have another repeat like that?
Yeah.
No, no, I don't think so. I think these guys. I think Lamelo's a better player than he was a year ago. I think Bridges is a better player than he was a year ago. I do think like I said, they've developed. I don't think they're gonna go out like that. And they're playing a little bit better than they were around this time a season ago, don't you think?
Yeah,
You
I think
What
so.
also
you
you also got to think Melo was just coming back from an injury last year too. So that
right?
wrist, it was very clear that wrist was still bothering him no matter what he said. That
Oh
wrist was
yeah.
obviously bothering him even in the beginning of this season. Still rolling it. He hasn't been doing that very much though. And also Gordon's not here though. That's a concern. Um, Even though he's not like one of their top players, he's definitely one of their go-tos. He's an OG.
Gordon was someone that they leaned on late in the stretch as a vet. But I
hmm
think with his extended absence, I mean, like that they have
They're still
replaced that
playing
role.
well.
I think
hmm
they put it in their mind that he's out, we don't need him, and other guys are going to have to step up. And I don't feel like it's just one guy that stepped up. It seems like a collective. I will say, I believe Melo took 60% of that, but then at the end of the games, the Hornets will confuse you because Melo will be
hmm
cooking in the game, and then in the fourth, he sits out for a while, and then he's deferring to Terry and Miles Bridges, and sometimes we can see Miles like he get tunnel vision, and that's what he's gonna do. So that's more my concern is like, what are y'all gonna do with 4 minutes left in the game, down by 2 points? Are y'all still gonna let the ball flow around, or are we just gonna get into here? You take a turn, you take a turn, you take a turn.
Even just today, yeah, they were up, but Melo was one assist away from a triple double, and they took him out.
I
There were two
noticed
minutes
that.
left in the game.
So even though the game was secure, you think they should have left him in and got that triple double?
I don't think he doesn't exactly need it. He has 20. Isn't it 22 right now? 22 this season.
You
Something
talking
like
about
that.
points per game?
Triple doubles.
Oh, triple double. Yeah, something like that.
Points per game. It's just now 20.
Yeah, he secured that.
Yep. But
Flight,
we
you.
also there's
Yeah, I'm
Montrez.
here
Sorry,
with you.
go.
What's good, facts?
Oh, nothing. I was just seeing if you because if y'all don't know, Flight Sports TV is a machine. He run his own show too, so this man could be doing 2 other shows at one time. I'm just seeing if you picking up what we putting down because
Yes, I'm picking up.
Jason,
I wanted to ask a question too when you're done.
I want to be pronouncing your name right. Is your name pronounced Jasa or Jasa?
Jasa.
Jasa. All right, cool. Go ahead, Flight. Ask your question.
Oh, I wanted to tell you because everybody's so concerned about Borrego. I heard all season, he just been getting killed. How concerned are you going up against the Nate McMillans, of the world? I think Nate McMillan is no joke because I seen him firsthand a season ago because the Knicks, I was all in last year, and he ran circles around us, and it even got himself to the conference finals. How concerned are you with that matchup between the two coaches? Because I'm just saying, how do you think Borrego could hold up against McMillan?
I'm concerned about Borrego because I feel like sometimes he overthinks things and overcoaches. Now, I'm not one of these people that are just like Borrego, boo, boo, boo. I don't like you. There's some things I like about the way that he coaches, and there's some things that I don't like. And so, like any other player, I'm trying to give him a chance to learn, grow, and become a better coach, once you see what's going on. But I'm afraid that in the playoffs, he could be like, all right, now here's my water boy, Bobby Boucher notebook coming out and try to overthink it. When these guys have developed so much chemistry, always kicking it, always on the road together, like they really hang out. If you got to think about it, 82 games, you seeing your teammates more than you see your family or your real friends. So now they are your real friends. And if you see that off the court, then you got to trust that in the playoffs or play-in. You got to trust that they're going to have that chemistry and let them go out there and just be comfortable and rock. That's how I feel. And, of course, LeVar has always said that. What does the best coach do? He let the players play. You get the guidelines and you let them run inside the guidelines. But you brought up a good point because the coaching, to me, is more of a factor in the playoffs because you have to adjust in a 7-game series. In these games alone, I'm not as concerned because I think that Melo can be hungry enough in one game just to go out there and take it.
Right, I agree with you. Good point, man.
Now, I'm going to go back to this play-in schedule. Jasa, who do you see coming out from the Cleveland and the Brooklyn game? Who's going to be getting that 7 seed right away?
I gotta go with Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Flight, that's where you at too?
Yeah, I think Brooklyn. I got Brooklyn.
So now, okay, that means we got Cleveland moving up to the next game. Let's say we defeat Atlanta, and now we go against Cleveland. After going against Atlanta and Cleveland, do we have enough like strength and energy left to go against Miami?
I don't know. I hate to say it, but I just want the Hornets in the playoffs for that experience. I say you roll the dice with whoever you face in that first round matchup. I think a season ago you lost in the play-in. I think the next step is advancing in the play-in, getting to the playoffs, and I think seeing what happens, roll the dice. Let's see how far away the Hornets are, competing against that number one. Let's say they push them to 6 games. That lets you know the Hornets ain't too far away. I think it's going to be a good measuring stick.
What you think, Jason?
Well, when it comes to getting there, I think they can get there. I just think their energy is going to be low by the time they get against Miami.
Oh, let me put this in a better question form. How many games can they win against Miami in you guys' opinion? I'll tell you what I think after you guys tell me because I already got my mind made up.
Against Miami, I'm gonna say at least maybe. I'm gonna say 6 games. I'm gonna say they sneak one on Miami and they hold 4. They hold 4 at home. I say possibly 6 games, avoiding the gentleman's sweep.
I got us winning 1 game against Miami.
I was thinking about 3 or 4.
I say it goes 4 games. I say I think we get 1 win, and I think Miami takes it because just to get there is going to take a toll on the guys, and then after they get there, Miami is rolling right now with Robinson and Hero. They are rolling, and so like. And then the coaching as well. I don't trust JB's coaching against. I know Spoelstrom wasn't there a few days ago. I don't know what's really going on with him, or is he going to be back or what? But I feel like the Heat and that situation is going to be very hard. But I would just be happy if we get through the play-in and make it to the playoffs, because that'll be a good, trophy just to say Rookie of the Year, first year, All-Star second year, and playoffs. You know what I mean? That means that he has brought something to Charlotte that they haven't seen in a long time.
Right. I agree. I think that's more important, just getting to the playoffs than thinking of how they're going to go out and how this and that. I think just not overthink it. Just get further than you were last season ago. I think that's the most important thing.
Just making it through the play-ins is a good thing for them. It's a learning lesson. They're still a really young team.
Definitely. And so, like, just the question that I pose, are the Hornets ready? I think they're ready for the play-in and not the playoffs because they're still a young team. But I do think that there's going to be these games aren't going to be walks in the park. I believe the Hornets are going to have to fight tooth and nail, and I believe LaMelo will be the factor that edges them to where they need to go. So who do you see?
Someone in the chat said Hornets don't play good defense against Miami.
That's Greg, definitely. That's good because, like, they like playing up and down. But when you playing up and down with Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero and you can't find your man getting back on defense, that's a dang problem. So, that's one of the worst matchups. To me, let's see what been a better if who's the 2 seed right now? Milwaukee. Yeah, they actually would have did better if Milwaukee had got the number 1 seed. They match up better with Milwaukee than Miami. But you get who you get, and that is what it is. I think, wow, the Chicago Bulls have been so disappointed. Flight Sports TV, if you don't know, guys, he focuses a lot of his content on LiAngelo Ball. And so, he's been covering the Bulls for a while. Don't forget to go to Flight Sports TV and subscribe to my guy right there. But the Bulls, they got the Celtics. You think they can win that without Lonzo?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think the Chicago Bulls, they are prisoner getting off to such a hot start. Without Lonzo, it's not just him, but you got Zach, he's hobbled. Even Caruso, he's dealing with the back injury. Patrick Williams is coming back. I think they need to get back and retool for next season when everybody's healthy. I think that's the best bet. I don't see no more than 5 or 6 games against Boston. What do you think?
I'm with you. I got the Bulls winning 2 games. That's about it. They don't even look confident to me. Like, I watched the last game and I'm like,
No.
they don't have that same swagger. They needed Lonzo Ball so bad. It was a lot of slander against Lonzo Ball that, he doesn't have a good layup package and he's not aggressive enough. And I tell people, defense is 50% of the game, just alone off of that. So if you have a great defender, they don't got to be able to do anything else but defend, and you need that player. Now, we know he does a whole lot more. Playmaking, shooting. Lonzo can do it all if you give him the opportunity. But everybody that said the Bulls are better without Lonzo, they didn't need him. He didn't need those, he got, $80 million. That was cap. So we see that right now, and you're really going to see it in the playoffs where they could use Lonzo Ball.
Right.
Shout out to Ranatone again. Jonathan, he said Bulls getting swept. And somebody said the Hornets going to get killed by the Hawks. I do not believe that. I believe it's going to be a good game, and it's really about the way that the Hornets start. I'm going to tell you this. This is how I feel. The Hornets, they have to make sure the first quarter belongs to LaMelo Ball every time. Just let him be free. I don't care how many shots he missed. I don't care how many turnovers. The first quarter, if you give that to LaMelo, you're going to do better. He always comes out ready and popping.
In first quarters, Melo has to be careful with fouling, though.
That's true. That's true.
he's been getting in a lot of foul trouble lately. It's just getting too close sometimes. Like you're too early into the game, and like I'll be watching. I'm like, stop touching people. Just go. Like
He
you're
can't
too
help
fast.
himself.
He's so fast.
Yeah. And it's like in the beginning of the game, the same thing that makes his offense go is kind of ramping up his defense. But that defense is fouling defense, and it ain't gonna fare well for him. But as long as he can hold those fouls back, I'm telling you, they should come up with a number like this is how many shots you should take in the first quarter, LaMelo. We need you to get hot and start us off, because sometimes they have slow starts, and I don't feel like it's ever LaMelo coming out with a slow start. He's always motivated and passing, but it's like in this first quarter, we need you to pass a little less, put your foot on the gas, and let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can do that, I believe that the Hawks can be defeated.
Right. I agree with you. I'm not so high on the Hawks like everybody thinks. Like I stated earlier, I think they had a Cinderella story. A season ago, they've come back to earth. I think they could be had, in Atlanta. I might even be more concerned if they was on the road in Charlotte. I think we could take them out in Atlanta. I'm confident. And also, that's a quick commute. So a lot of Hornets fans, they could get up in Atlanta and get to that arena. If they it could be crazy, that crowd.
Yeah, I heard Terry Rozier today after the game said we need y'all to come down there, come to the game. And so, you know what I mean? LaMelo Ball has fans that reach far and wide. So the distance and also just the fame, it could the Hawks could feel like they're not having a home game. It'll be interesting if it happens that way.
Right.
Sam says if Kyle Lowry doesn't draw like 30 charges, Hornets can beat them.
That's a real one though. It's so hard to watch those games, and I'm like, that's really, you're gonna call that? Like you're kidding.
He's smart. I'll give him that. He's smart. And I used to didn't have any respect for him. But in a bubble, he really impressed me. I know the bubble wasn't, whatever. But like Kyle Lowry, he's a bona fide player. He deserves the respect he gets. I was kind of sleeping on him. I thought he was out of shape and out there, but saying some body types are just different, and you do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said Clint Star 2 cents said Melo doesn't play defense. Now that's a lie. The reason why
a lot better.
I'm not going to say that he plays the best defense, but you can't say he doesn't play defense. It isn't like LaMelo is standing around and people are running past him. You always see his head on a swivel. Yes, sometimes the back cut gets there, but his head's on a swivel. He's finding his man. He's touching his man. Matter of fact, he's getting fouled out. You know what I mean? He's hacking his man. Like, the effort is there. And to me, he's actually getting better than the first year. Yes, he gets overexcited sometimes and he does foul, but to say he doesn't play defense, sorry, Flight, I know you like Carmelo Anthony, but early on, Carmelo didn't play no defense. He ain't Carmelo Anthony. You know what I'm saying? This is a different Melo. Like, he trying to play deep. And plus, he got the most steals. He averaging the most steals on the team. So obviously, he's defensive minded. It just looks different because, that Chino Hills mindset, that training that they got.
Right. I'm with you. Melo's defense is good. And also, as he continues to age, is even going to be even better. I think that's the next evolution, because I think he's starting to almost perfect everything else. I think the next evolution is buckling down defensively and seeing how far he can excel in that avenue.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you. Definitely with you on that. Now,
someone said Melo cheats, but he's smart most times on defense.
Oh, what they mean, like jumping into passing lanes or just like going behind the center and grabbing the ball when he's not looking? Is that what they call cheating? Greg, is that what you mean? Maybe that's what he means. And I would just call that being a smart player, and this is what LaMelo and them did. After they scored the bucket, they turned around, got straight on defense. So he's definitely defensive minded, but he's got to learn how to play better on ball defense. But how many players in the NBA, are known for just great on-ball defense? There's not tons of them. So to me, it's just like something petty that you say when you want to hate on somebody who's coming out offensively snapping. Lakers really out of the play-in tournament, LOL. Yeah, the Lakers, they played themselves. What they say, congratulations, you played yourself. They definitely did that.
I was talking to my dad about that the other day because he's been paying attention to the Lakers since Russ is over there, and he just loves, he makes fun of them a lot. I have respect for Russell Westbrook, but some of the stuff he's doing with the Lakers just it has me rolling. Like, it's funny to me.
Russell Westbrook is like, this is the NBA. That means that you are televised all the time. That means that you're on ESPN, you're on TNT, you're on NBA. Like, it's not a group that is meant to be private. That's the thing I don't get about when people say, why are you talking about this guy's business? Or why are you this and that? You've signed up to be a public figure, and you're making the most money on a team that is one of the biggest teams in the NBA, like a Boston or a Knicks or Chicago. You're freaking the LA Lakers. When you go to big time Showtime, they pay you big time money. You're in the mecca of freaking, what do you call these people? Tabloids and media. If you weren't ready for that pressure, then you shouldn't have went there. If you weren't ready for the criticism, then you shouldn't have went there. People are going to talk because your life is literally, they pay you to put your life out there. And so I felt that Russell Westbrook really didn't handle it well, because he is a great player. But I believe that if he mentally wasn't so much focused on how they were treating him and talking to him, that he could have locked back in on his game.
Right, I agree with you. Westbrook, he definitely is the scapegoat, but I think it was a collection of all parties involved. But he's gonna get the criticism because, like, Anthony Davis is heavily protected by LeBron James. Me personally, I think LeBron James has a hand in this as well. He checked out on these guys. This is the roster that he built, and it seems to be he was in a conundrum between he don't want to step up and take the lead, and really, like, it was going to require for LeBron to go single-handedly get this team to the play-in. He wanted to be a facilitator. He didn't want to do that. So this is what has happened. LeBron did not go into attack mode, and not just one game. You need to do it for a stretch. That's what it was going to require. And he didn't want to do that. Anthony Davis can remain healthy. It was a mess, man. But they all have blame in this. And a lot of people going to lose their jobs behind this.
Yeah, we got to put blame on Anthony Davis, and maybe not him, but on his injuries. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he was there, then Russ could be a number 3 guy, and
Right.
LeBron could be a number 2 guy, because that was the plan, for him to age with some superstars, so he didn't have to play.
Yeah.
Try to compete for the scoring title, and that's what he did. So I got to give him props for that, and I don't care how old you are. You got guys in the NBA 24 years old and they averaging 10 points a game. I don't care if he's on the Lakers and they're playing 30 points a game is 30 points a game. At 37, you gotta give him props for that. And I'm not the biggest LeBron fan, you know what I mean? But it is what it is.
Right.
Now, if Lonzo had stayed healthy, and I've been, my DM been full of stuff, everybody talking about Lonzo not staying healthy. But if he had stayed healthy, where do you think the Bulls would be right now? Jason, you first.
Yeah.
If he had stayed healthy. I mean, considering all the other players that he has playing with him, like Zach LaVine and Caruso, I mean, the Bulls have changed so much. Just Lonzo Ball being in Chicago. So, I mean, where are they now? Where are they?
They are number 6 seed.
They were a lot higher at one point before all their injuries and COVID protocols.
They were number 1, baby girl. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd say they would have been in the 4th seed with Lonzo there. And like I predicted for the beginning of the year, because I knew you got the 76ers, Milwaukee, and I was honestly thinking the Nets this year as well. But I thought they would be the 4th seed, and I feel like if they had Lonzo, they would have a different swagger, and they would have did better, because we don't know what Zach LaVine is going to do next year. Like, this was a year for them to really make some noise and make it to the second round of the playoffs. And I feel like, dang, I hate to even go and make a video on this. You know what I'm saying? I was ready to see Lonzo in the playoffs. So it's like LaMelo and Lonzo both might miss the playoffs this year.
Mm-hmm. Somebody is in the chat talking about Lonzo's not an all-star. He's been out and injured every year of his career. I've been waiting on Lonzo since his rookie year.
Okay, I would say that Lonzo is not an all-star right now. I can agree with you on that. You know what I mean? He's not an all-star. First of all, you got to stay healthy and be on the floor to be an all-star. You know, it's a lot of people, when we compliment Lonzo, they think that we're just saying Lonzo is the best player ever, and we don't acknowledge any of his deficiencies. That's not what it is at all. If we're talking about deficiencies, we can do that. If we're talking about his skill, we can do that as well. Like Magic Johnson said, he has a high IQ. He can pass the ball with the best of anyone in the NBA, and he is that floor general. Now, do they allow him to be that all the time? No. Does he seem sometimes less aggressive in taking his role on the team? Yes, you know, to a fault, in my opinion, at sometimes. But like we said, he can make an all defensive team right now. And with his 3-point shot improving more and more and more, and being on that team, I could see him making an all-star. You know, as long as they take DeRozan and take him out of the guard position, because he's not a guard.
Right.
How y'all feel about it?
I mean, I agree. I agree with everything that you said. I think Lonzo Ball, obviously, he's going to have to shake a couple of critics. You know, he's got a new tab, seems the injury-prone label. I think Lonzo could definitely shake that off, just like he's shaking off everything else. You know, a lot of people have labeled him things, and they've walked their statements back, usually 24 hours later. But unfortunately, the people that are sitting here discussing the injury-prone label, you know, we're going to have to wait a couple of months for you guys to take your statements back. The only thing you could do is go season by season. I just want Lonzo Ball to have one successful season, which this was coming up next year. Just try to have a relatively healthy season. And I think you could put to bed some of these issues that some people have, you know, stated, you know, as of late. You know, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like some people sometimes try to take it to the extreme. If you say, man, Lonzo's a great player, they'll be like, he's not an all-star. Nobody said he was an all-star, bro. Cut it out. But you got those people everywhere.
Right.
One thing that we cannot act like it doesn't exist, because we can bring up, oh, he gets injured, he gets this and that, but he also improves every year. He also improves every year. Like, I think it's getting to the point where the other night when LaMelo was shooting lights out, I thought about putting a poll up, who's the best shooter, and because it'll change. It was LaMelo, Lonzo, LiAngelo. People starting to get confused, like, dang, who is the best shooter? You know what I'm saying? Lonzo definitely stepped his game up. It is what it is. So would have
I
to give
think
to you. Go ahead.
for Lonzo, a lot of it for Lonzo is his confidence too. Lonzo is not known to be the most confident ball brother, but he can go out there, he can play. When he is confident, he just when he plays his best ability, it's crazy.
Definitely crazy. The thing, this is only my observation with Lonzo. Soon as he came into the fold, he was the first one. And I'm talking about out of the womb of the Amazon Tina Ball. He was the first one. And LeVar deemed him the captain, the general. The crown was put on his head. You shall lead the pack, the tribe. I'm having 2 more coming, and you will lead. So from that to the AAU team that he created, everything, Lonzo was handed the keys. He never had to fight or take them. Even when he went to UCLA, it's like, here are the keys. Summer League, NBA Summer League. They handed him the keys. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Magic wanted to continue the cycle of. Like, let's just hand it to him. But, you know, Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss, Luke Walton, they had other ideals because other people on the team had ambitions and they wouldn't put people in a pecking order. Now, you got guys like LaMelo Ball. If he come into a locker room, he needs no one to give him the crown. See what I'm saying? He always had Lonzo over him, Jello over him. He's used to an uphill battle, an uphill fight. And LaMelo had to climb that to basically solidify his position. Lonzo was always handed the crown. You know, this is your kingdom. So I just believe from observation, this is nothing that LeVar told me or anything like that. This is just from what I've seen, is like Lonzo is not used to going into an environment where he's got to take it. But he has all the ability to do it if it was given to him. And that's why I had high hopes when I heard DeMar DeRozan saying, I feel like Lonzo hasn't reached his full potential. And I feel like, and when Zach LaVine was saying high hopes to Lonzo, I said, man, if he gets there and they give him the keys, and people are so, to me, it's a dumb statement to be like, what do you mean give Lonzo the keys when there's DeRozan, the king of the fourth, and Zach LaVine, the dunk contest, blah, 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 blah. No, the keys in Lonzo's hand does not mean he's taking the most shots. It just mean he's driving the car. You know what I'm saying? And you get out, you deliver your Uber Eats, you deliver that, bam, 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 and we win the game. That's what I was hoping for Lonzo. But even in the Bulls, I like the team, but I can honestly say that Lonzo still is yet to have those keys the way I believe that he would want them and what he could do with them. He is still, being a little passive based on teammates calling for the ball. I would like to see Lonzo wave people off a little more. Like, that's not the best option. I would like for Lonzo to tell people, speed it up. Get up the court. If you were leaking out, I would have had you. And then we're going to see Lonzo in his true element. The question is, before he plays with his brother, can he assume that position on the Chicago Bulls? In my mind, that's the real question. Jason, any comments on that? Flight, anybody, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think that he could. I mean, like I said, hopefully, like I think everybody wants the end goal to be everybody to link up together, and I think that's gonna be where he's gonna sell the most. But hopefully he could build on some of the bright spots he had this season because it was many. If you really just look at some of the way his season went, it was like in the beginning he was trying not to step on nobody's toes. He wanted to just try to fit in, but it seems to be he was getting more and more comfortable, and it was just unfortunate the way things went. But let's hope that all we can do is hope, man, at this point. And injuries, you can't predict them, but his play, I'm confident that he'll improve every year like he's been doing. I don't see any differences between this year and next year. He's going to improve next year as well.
All right, let's move on to LaMelo Ball's stat line in this first game against the Hawks in the play-in. Are we going to see high assists? Is he going to come out looking to get everybody involved big time? Or are we going to see, just a 18, 9, and 8, like just even? Or is LaMelo Ball going to come out and drop 30-plus points? What do you think his mindset is coming to this game? Because, of course, if you ask him, he's just going to say he's locked in. He's going to take whatever the defense gives him. But really, we know certain players come in with a mindset of, I'm going to kill, or I'm just going to do this whole team thing. Where do you see LaMelo's mindset being, Jason? And then tell me his stat line because of it.
Okay. I want to say, I want him to go off of last year in the play-ins. We didn't make it as far as I wanted to. I want this. I'm going to get this. I want this, because that's his mentality. So I'm thinking, he's gonna drop about 20 first half.
20 in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, if he drops 20 in the first half, there's not much he's gonna need to do in the second half. They'll be up by a lot. I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you got? The complete stat line when the buzzer goes off and there's 0 seconds left. What's the stat line for LaMelo?
Let's say about 29, because when it comes to points, rebounds, I'm gonna give him like 7 or 8. Assists, I feel like he needs to be lower in assists because his assists lately, they turn to turnovers, because sometimes he tries to be flashy with his assists, and sometimes it comes out well, sometimes it doesn't. So I don't have a for sure number on the assists. That's really just what's going on.
Got you.
But steals is the one that I'm thinking about a lot, because when he's in crunch time in games, his main thing is to try to steal, but that can also lead to fouls.
That's true. Because he's playing against Trae Young and he has a good history against Trae Young. Flight, I'm going to go before you. I'll let you go after me. I got LaMelo dropping 35 points. I believe he's going to come in with I must win this game. The only thing that would get in his way, I believe, would be 3 other teammates coming in with the same mindset. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I always talk about the pecking order. And we know Terry can come in with that mindset. Miles Bridges can come with that mindset. And if it's at different times when people are on the bench, I'm okay with that. But it really has to be organized. But I'm telling you, if the first quarter LaMelo is allowed to really come out and just shoot his shots and all over Trae Young, he pulling with the centers of different teams trying to block his shots. So Trae Young, standing at 5'11", he can score in this man's grill. So I'm going with 35 on the points. And like you said, they assist. Today, I feel like he was throwing some flashy passes that weren't making it, but it wasn't all him. I just believe some of his teammates weren't ready. Like, they're like, no way he could squeeze that pass behind him through all this traffic. And if they were paying attention, that would have been an assist. So I'm going to give him 35 points. I'm going to give him 7 assists, and I'm going to give him 6 rebounds. That's what I believe that is it, and I believe that's what it's going to take. I think that's what it's going to take. Now, of course, I think, Miles Bridges and Terry can go off. That can happen in any game. But I believe that LaMelo Ball is going to step up to the challenge and take this game. Flight Sports TV, where you at, man?
No, I agree with you. I think that LaMelo's going to definitely be hovering around the triple-double. I'm not sure about the points, but I'm going to say anywhere upwards of 25 points. I expect him to go crazy, but that was a good point that you pointed out with depending on how's everybody mindset going to be, because let's say Melo's coming out here to single-handedly win this game or something like that, even though hopefully he could do that in spurts. He don't have to do that all game. But let's say Miles Bridges coming out here saying, I'm going for 50. Terry Rozier saying, I'm going for 40. You know what I mean? So, then it can get problematic. And then you can see a replay of what happened a year ago when it was like your turn, my turn. Hopefully they know you can't go about that way, But let's see what happens, man. It's going to be a good showdown. What happens when the game get tight? That's another thing. I think something – because I'm expecting this game to go down to the wire. I don't see the Hawks just running away with this thing. I think Charlotte, they've been hanging around. Everybody's counting them out, and they've always been around. They're going to be hanging around this game. And it's gonna be crazy to see how it closes, because I know what the Hawks gonna do when it's closing time, but what are the Hornets gonna do? That's gonna be the question.
Yeah, definitely. Trae Young has more experience than LaMelo in these playoffs, and he's at home.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's gonna be showtime. I
they
believe
got
this
snipers.
Man, this is going to be a highly watched televised game. I'm going to go ahead and look at the ratings when it's over with. But you got Trae Young, that new generation, you know what I'm saying? They wanted him to be the next Steph Curry. And then you got LaMelo Ball. Enough said. We need to say nothing else about the one-of-one rare. So I believe that we're going to see some far shots from Trae. I believe we're going to see some off-the-dribble shots from LaMelo that just make us go, what the heck is going on? And I just hope to God that Terry and Bridges and Melo are all clicking together. That chemistry is vibing. That is so important right now. And because the Hawks, they got their roster figured out. You know what I'm saying? They know who the guy is. They know what role to play. And that's why I think they surprised people last year. You know what I mean? Because they weren't even all that, but they actually have things in order in that organization. Somebody said Borrego got to let Melo control the offense. He be trying to hold him back too much. Big facts. Clint star 2 cent, and had IT not cooled off, I feel like Borrego would have kept Melo out. Maybe. Shout out to King Midas, my moderator. Hey, if I come to Cleveland, you trying to see that game? You trying to see that game? Sorry, my moderator King Midas in there. Now, let's go back to this screen right here. Who do we see coming out of the 76ers in Toronto? Who y'all got? Jason, you first.
76ers.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy one. You think how many games? I'll say 6 games.
6 or 5.
6 or 5.
Yeah.
And then wow, so Brooklyn could be going against Miami. Wow. I mean, not Miami. I'm sorry, Milwaukee. That'll be good. Very interesting. I think KD wants to get a little revenge on Giannis with all troops on deck. You know what I'm saying? From last year when his toe was on the line. And the Brooklyn Nets better be glad they didn't get paired up with Toronto, because Kyrie wouldn't have been able to play up there in Canada. Ruben H, you going to be at the game, said you want to meet me? All right. Eddie Cruz says, has Zoe averaged 20 in a season? Question mark. Uh-oh, we got the people that like to put the brothers against each other. There's this big culture of who's better, Lonzo, Lamelo, blah, 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 blah. Yes, Zoe has not averaged 20, but we can bring up some stats and ask, has LaMelo done this? We can bring up some defensive stats and say, does LaMelo do this? We know that LaMelo offensively is, but you know what? This is kind of different too. LaMelo can make the most difficult shots, but sometimes he missed the most easiest shots. Do y'all see him sometimes just going and miss layups? I can't be the only one.
Sometimes his floater game is like on 100 sometimes, and the next day like he's missing floaters. I'm like, how are you gonna miss a floater?
And then in high school and the NBL, it was like LaMelo is the jelly king. He got a crazy layup package. But when we seen he got to the NBA, he still makes good layups, don't get me wrong, but he misses layups as well. That height difference came, and I think that surprised him. He don't have the layup package like we thought he would have, at least me. I thought he was going to come in with almost up to par with Kyrie Irving finishing around the rim, and LaMelo is not there right now. He's still going to have to develop that.
People also have to think that they're just because they share the same last name doesn't mean they're the same person. They grew up playing very similar, but now that they are in the NBA, their stats are going to be different because even though they play the same positions, they play differently.
Completely different. And that's why they work together. You can't have the exact same players. They'd be bumping into each other all the time. Somebody said, when did they start the play-in? The play-in was started in the bubble, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it was started in the bubble to try to get Zion into the playoffs. And the Pelicans blew that, and Lonzo had a horrible time in the bubble. And man, I just had people going crazy at me on Instagram because of how bad Lonzo was. But I told them, yeah, I don't care what happened in the bubble. Lonzo is going to come back and he's going to be even better. And they told me he need to go to the G League. That's cap. But yeah, that's the history on the play-in. They started it during the bubble because it was supposedly unfair with the whole, pandemic. And now they're just keeping it going. And some people say this year they kept it going just to make sure they could try to get people like the Nets in and the Lakers. The ratings have kind of been going down in the NBA when they've been getting political and different things like that. So they're trying to make sure that the hot names reach the playoffs. Definitely. Y'all agree the Hornets could upset the Heat? No, I do not think the Hornets can upset the Heat. Sorry about that. I just don't think they can. The Heat are too hot, no pun intended right now. And LaMelo and them, they can't get back on defense enough. They can't get back on defense. They like running down, but they all don't run back.
Right.
Bad Game says 4 teams I possibly think going into the finals: Phoenix Suns, Grizzlies, Heat, and Bucks. Oh, it's a new day in the NBA. The Grizzlies, they really impressed me this year. The Suns, they've been overdue. I actually like the playoffs this year. The playoffs is decent this year.
Me too. I think it's going to be one of the better ones that we've had in a long time. I think it's going to be epic, to say the least. Just wait. I expect. Watch out for Luka Doncic too. I'm expecting him to go crazy because he had to face the Clippers the past 2 years. He don't got the Clippers. I don't know who they face. Do you have it up there?
Yeah, I got it up there.
They got Utah.
Utah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good series. I got Dallas winning that one. I expect Luka to go crazy. You understand? Because I think he's just gonna be so excited that he don't got to face the Clippers. That's what I'm expecting. He's gonna get out the first round.
Yeah. And we got somebody else joining us. What's up, Juju?
Yo, what's good? Hey, I'm gonna get my headphones right quick. I'm gonna be right back.
My man, funny. I done put them all in the show, right? And he like, let me get these headphones. But get your headphones. Yeah, Luka Doncic, like 51 and 30. They had a good record this year. And like he's dangerous. I think everybody in the NBA knows Luka Doncic is dangerous. Like it's only so long that they can deny this man entry into the second round of the playoffs and he go crazy. But I like Donovan Mitchell. It just seems like he always comes up short. But if you watch any of those Utah games, this guy is doing the same thing as other superstars in the NBA. He really is. He's just not. He's in a market that's smaller, and his personality isn't always coming off the screen like a LaMelo Ball. You know what I mean? But
right.
I think we definitely gonna see some good games. I want to see if Rudy Gobert, can keep that defense up. But like you said, Luka Doncic, he's a problem.
Yes. Donovan Mitchell, that's going to be a hell of a matchup, too. Donovan Mitchell, he ain't trying to lose. He ain't trying to go out like that. So I expect them to go at it.
Oh, yes, definitely. And then it's looking like the Warriors, they're just getting older. They're getting older, and not everybody can be healthy at the same time. So, they're going up against Denver, and do you see Golden State making that out of there?
Golden State making it out of Denver?
Yeah.
Golden State. Oh, who they facing in the first round?
The Nuggets.
For sure. They should. I mean, Denver, MPJ's out.
Good.
So, my bad. Yeah, you can go.
Now, I got the Warriors winning. I think you don't have this good of a season and you just fall out like that. I think the situation with Clay is something to monitor, but I think they should be good to get out the first round against the Nuggets. I think they're gonna run into problems in that second round. Who would they be facing? Probably either Memphis or who the hell? Yeah, we don't know yet. But I think probably Memphis. They're gonna run into some problems that second round. They're good for the first round now.
Don't get it twisted though. Joker ain't gonna just lay down. That brother just ain't gonna lay down. He gonna have a couple crazy games. I'm telling you that.
Oh yeah, for
Joker
sure.
is nice. That's gonna be a good series. All these series looking good, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Oh yeah, I've been contemplating, like, you know what I'm saying? The Ball brothers ain't making the playoffs, but I'm looking at these games and I can't lie to you. I'm like, Ball Facts might have to reach out. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I might have to branch out and make a couple of videos, because I'm looking at this like this a movie.
Right. Go for it, man.
What's up, Juju? What you hearing that you want
Yo,
to
what's
comment
good,
on?
Man? Well, what's good, my boy Flight, man? What's good with y'all? But I saw y'all were talking about the playoffs, so I came in. I'm feeling pretty good. Lamelo, the Hornets. Ever since Gordon Hayward has gotten injured, they've looked better as a team. They've obviously played better overall, which is really like a coincidence. You know what I'm saying? And Ball Facts, I also want to get your opinion on that whole Russell Westbrook thing too, because I kind of had a discussion on Flight's channel about it, and I got a couple of good ideas about it.
Did you hear what I said already about Russell yet?
No, I didn't hear it. What you say?
Oh no! Oh, you talking about with the Hornets? I was just talking about his deal with LA. Okay,
with the Hornets,
I do not like Russell Westbrook coming to Charlotte. I think that Russell Westbrook is, in his mind, he is a triple-double machine. No one will ever do what he's done. And right now, he's not a number 2 guy in a market like Charlotte. I feel like when he comes in, he's going to be like when IT went to play with LeBron in Cleveland. I don't know if you remember that. And it just didn't match. Yeah, because Isaiah Thomas was like, I'm still that guy. I was just leading the league in scoring. What are you talking about? I don't know if Russell Westbrook is ready to take a step back. He's very ball dominant. So for me, I don't see it working. Now, if Russell Westbrook had a complete change of heart and he said, I'm going to come off the bench and kill everybody, that would be a new day. But as of all the interviews I've watched, in his mind, he is still MVP.
That's true. And I would agree with that. So basically, your only argument, or not argument, but your only thing as to why your problem. The only problem that you have with Westbrook being on this team is basically ego, right?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. And I understand that 100%. Would you agree that problem already is on this team? Not only with the players on the team, but also the coaching staff.
Not to that extent, but yes, you are right. I don't believe there is a big ego as Russell Westbrook would bring into the locker room that is there, whether it be the players or the coaches. Before we go forward, do you feel like there is an ego as big as Russell Westbrook's already in Charlotte?
Well, not individually, but if you're asking overall, if I'm looking at multiple players that potentially could be traded for Russell Westbrook, I would say it's tough to say as much because Russell Westbrook, come on now, I can't say that, but I would say very huge egos, and then on top of Borrego as well. That would be my answer to it. But yeah, I wouldn't measure up to Westbrook. But my thing about it though, Ball Facts, right? If we do get Westbrook, he's going to be on an expiring deal for 1 year. And then after that, we're going to have 50 million going into I think 2023 to 2024 to basically get anybody we want, potentially Zion, multiple other players that's in that free agency class, right? So like for instance, what if we traded Gordon and Terry for Westbrook for 1 year?
1 year, I mean, you have to be ready to throw that year away. I mean, if you're okay with throwing that year away, then I guess it depends on what they could really get in return.
Right. But
But that's interesting. That makes me actually not be so cut and dry and say no, no, no. To think about
right.
1 year, and then it's basically the opposite of the Lakers. 1 year get the ring, and then the rest is trash. It's like 1 year trash. Then from then on, like you could be top 5 in the East for the next
Yep.
whatever how many years.
Yep. And then on top of that, ball
Right.
facts, I don't think that would be that bad. Like even with Westbrook, as long as they got Lamelo and Miles Bridges, we've already seen how good they can be this year, just with those two guys going crazy, right? That I mean, they've been playing really well this last 20 game stretch because of specifically Lamelo Ball and Miles Bridges' high level of play. So as long as we got those two guys, and again, especially LaMelo, he's an enormous talent. I don't think just having Westbrook on his team is going to like stunt his growth or whatever. He's going to do what he does with whoever. He can play with whoever. LeVar has said he's preached this since he was a baby. He can play with whoever, Westbrook, whoever you want to throw out there. He's going to do what he does. So I still think this team could be a play-in team potentially around where they are this year, even with Westbrook. Throw away next year. And then the year after that, bro, you're looking at a class that's pretty good.
Okay, let me ask you a question, and this is, I guess, kind of rhetorical. Is LaMelo Ball right now better than LeBron James?
In
Okay,
Come on, ball.
I would say
Facts.
no. I would say no.
No.
All
No.
right. Russell Westbrook couldn't get it done with LeBron James. I
But ball
mean,
facts. But
and
that's the thing. It
go ahead.
wasn't his fault though. It wasn't his fault. If you think about it, Russell Westbrook sacrificed his game for LeBron. They did not return a favor.
He gonna have to sacrifice his game for Melo too.
I think he will. LaMelo's that kind of talent. Would you agree?
Yeah, I know Melo's that type of talent, but can Westbrook play with other talented players? He's played with Paul George. He's played with Kevin Durant. He's played with LeBron James. I mean, like this guy has played even with James Harden he played with James Harden twice. But I don't know if like Russell Westbrook walks in the locker room and is like, this place ain't big enough for the both of us. If that's just how his game translates. See what I'm saying? Like he hasn't, every time I've seen him, he hasn't proven to be able to be a number 2 partner guy and really hold up his end of the bargain. It's almost like it's either all or nothing. If you give Russell Westbrook the keys, he can go out there and have a decent record and get triple doubles. But if there's someone else with him, I see him selling. And I don't want to see that stain on LaMelo Ball's playing with Russell Westbrook and the drama that comes with it. And, all he's in the tabloids saying, oh, Melo looked at, say take little clips. LaMelo looked at Westbrook dirty. And now, just stuff like that.
I see that point. Right. But that's the thing. I don't think Westbrook is going to bring distractions. Just like you said, it's the game. It's like the translation of his game. And I agree with you. I've been saying this for years. Westbrook game isn't the type of game that's like going to help you win a championship, especially if he's a number 1 or 2 guy. I've always said this, but Ballfax, this is what I've been preaching as well. This is only for a year. Even if let's say we don't trade for him and we keep Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier is on a 4-year deal for $25 million. Gordon Hayward's on a deal for 2 years for $30 million. Together, that adds up to $55 million for the next 2 or 3 years. And if we trade for Westbrook, right, we're going to shorten our problems way quicker than we would have originally. And that's my whole point about this. Like, okay, let's say we keep Gordon and Terry. Our same problems are going to exist. We're going to have egos. We're going to have my turn, your turn basketball at the end of 4 quarters. It's going to be all this type of stuff, right? But remove that, get Westbrook only for a year. That problem will exist. And we're not worried about winning games. We're not worried about winning a championship. He's not the number 2, right? It's only for 1 year. And then boom, he's out of there. So in terms of long-term success, I think this isn't a bad idea overall.
You know what? I'm gonna agree with you to a certain extent when I think of it that way. Because look, we see some teams they tank in order for the
Mm-hmm.
future. They trade certain pieces and they wait because they know that the wait will be worth it. So, in the sense of, I'd have to put the complete statement out there: bring Russell Westbrook to Charlotte, being willing to accept of one bad season for a greater
Mm-hmm.
future. You know,
Right.
I get that, and I never really heard it like that. So, hey, shout out to you for bringing some facts right here on Ball Facts, y'all.
Right. But he has to accept that backup role. He cannot be trying to butt heads with LaMelo, but he didn't try to butt heads with AD or LeBron. And again, like LaMelo, I mean, I'm not saying he's better than LeBron, but this dude's talent is like out of this world. I mean, come on. If anything, he'll want to help LaMelo grow his game, be a mentor to LaMelo Ball. Also, he's going to be with Michael Jordan, who's been his mentor since he came in the league. So I mean, it's better overall than him being in LA. I mean, overall, just keeping it a buck.
Okay. I mean,
Yes.
I've never seen Westbrook take anybody under his wing. I'm sure he has, but I don't see him as a mentor type of guy. He might be. I have no idea, but he hasn't. I haven't seen any traits in the media or if with teammates talk about him of him being that type of mentor, take you under his wing. It seemed like when Westbrook walk in the gym, everybody is the ops, and he's angry, not like in
only
real, but like
Spartans.
on the court. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. That's how I feel.
You got no friends, only Spalding. You remember what he said.
And then getting under Michael Jordan, is that going to make him try to calm down and let LaMelo run the show, or is he going to be like, man, I'm playing in front of MJ. I'm signed by MJ. Let me go out here and drop 30.
Right. And chat, y'all are I see like dudes saying like it's counterproductive. Bro, we're in a league where it's positionless basketball. Like I've already mentioned before, LeVar has preached since this dude was a baby that he can play with anybody. Like, bro, he could throw me, Ball Facts, Flight, and probably Rave Kingdom, like, big ass over here, and we'll be able to win a couple games and he'll still be able to do what he can do. So, like, come on. I mean, like with Westbrook, it shouldn't be that bad for a year. You're thinking about it for 3 years. We're talking about 82 games, right? If we keep Terry and Gordon on this team, we're going to be the same way we are right now. We're not going to be better than Miami, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Boston. I can keep Philly with Gordon and Terry on this team at making the money that they're making. We have to make a move so we can get a third star to actually complement LaMelo and Miles Bridges. That's point blank, period.
Now, do you think that LaMelo is attached to the friendship of Terry Rozier to the point where he wouldn't want him to go, and the Hornets would be in a position to be saying, we got to be thinking about keeping LaMelo, not thinking about getting someone new. We want to think about keeping LaMelo. If we keep him, we're gonna attract other big fish, and we'll be able to deal later. Like,
Right.
do you think that'll be a factor of not being able to get rid of Miles Bridges or Terry? We know not Miles, but Miles and
No, hell.
Terry. They seem like the guys that LaMelo, if anybody, he would go to bat for and say, "These my brothers. Well, you got to find somebody else. You gonna have to trade a PJ and a Gordon. And you can't trade Terry. But what if teams want Terry? You see what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
will the Hornets back off of that type of mindset just to keep LaMelo happy?
See, that's a very good question. When it comes to the individual player relationships, so you obviously have the friendships and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, Ball Facts, like I always say, it's a business. And if this is what has to happen to better the team's future and hopefully improve the overall team success, maybe this is the right move despite friendships and things of that nature. Because I mean, even though they're friends, like Ball Facts, would you agree that just their game sometimes on the court kind of butt heads sometimes?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. So that's the thing about it.
I made a video and I ended up deleting it, and I was like, it just don't go right for the team chemistry. But I had made a video all the times that LaMelo called for the ball and he was getting looked off, and it was so much of his homies in it that I said, I don't want to put this out. You see what I'm saying? Like, when I made those LiAngelo videos, everybody got pissed at the Swarm. You know what I'm saying? And it was causing a little friction and stuff like that. Whether it was on their Instagram, whether it was on during the live games on the YouTube page, people going in on them people because like, y'all pass the Jello. So I will say there are times where there is friction. There is times where I feel like, saying they, even though they might be cool off the court, they don't completely click on the court. And you're right in the sense of LaMelo want to win more than it all. So,
Right.
you his homie, but and he might say you his brother, but if your name ain't Lonzo or LiAngelo, you're not really his brother.
And that's the thing too. You bring up Lonzo. This is what I'm saying, ball facts, bro. Westbrook for a year. The year after that, bro, you're looking at so much money. You're looking at so much cap space. You can make a move for Lonzo. You can make multiple moves with the money that you're going to have in cap space. You don't have to just, get somebody in the free agency market. We can make a move here for Lonzo as well. The best thing is just having money to work with to actually make the best moves. Because again, ball facts, when we first drafted LaMelo, this team did not know LaMelo was going to be a superstar like me and you did, and everybody else that's in this chat flight as well, right? They were a little bit weary about him, so they went ahead, signed Gordon Hayward to a bunch of money, re-signed James Borrego, and then they extended Terry Rozier this year as well, which probably in hindsight weren't the best moves in terms of LaMelo's long-term success. So they're gonna have to rebuild this team some way, somehow.
And Melo only has 2 more guaranteed years. Then he got the option, to get up out of there. So, and also, Lonzo 2 more years. He took the 4 with the 3 options. So they're gonna come into free agency at the same time. So just be on the lookout for what is probably gonna happen.
Yep.
But it's the way the organization has dealt with LaMelo though has been very interesting. It's like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Everybody's watching him and watching you and wondering like, why this, why that? And we don't know. I feel like they can't get a good gauge on LaMelo Ball. Like, does he really like it here? Will he stay here? I feel like they feel he's unpredictable. And he is. His what he thinks next year might be different than this year as well. So
nobody knows what he's thinking, ball facts. Nobody. I really believe that. Even his daddy, I know his daddy, I know that's his dad. He raised him. But LaMelo's in a space right now, just as being a superstar, not only on the court, but off the court. It's like he's in his own world. Like, he even says this himself in interviews and stuff like that all the time. Like, it's going to be hard to read him, especially as an organization that's already working against him, not only on the court, but also behind the scenes with LiAngelo Ball and all these things. So eventually, bro, they're going to get their shoes tied up, bro, and they're going to be tripping over themselves, bro. So they got to make the moves, bro.
You know how upset the Charlotte community would be if they let LaMelo go? Do you understand?
Jordan got to retire after that, bro. It's over. He got to go back to golfing. You can't be a GM no more. You can't let a superstar talent like LaMelo Ball walk out of your hands. The Mavericks aren't letting Luka Doncic go. They're going to fire their coach. They're going to make trades. They're going to do all these things to make sure Luka Doncic is happy.
Kristaps Porzingis, nope. You out of here. If you don't gel good with them, goodbye. We'll find something for you. You got to recognize when you find the meal ticket and you got to go with it. And the Hornets right now, they haven't eliminated all the factors that we could give that'll be a reason why he may want to leave. And the Jello with the Swarm is for one. Then we watch on the court. We listen to the Slam magazine. And it's like, you guys got 2 more years to figure this out. You don't want him in that same space in 2 years saying, if they really give me the keys. And that's what I don't want to happen. They get Russell Westbrook for a year. And yeah, we're thinking about, okay, it'd be cool if they just get rid of 1 year and then they can do better. But LaMelo may want that 1 year to be a certain way. He don't want to play 82 games, with a ball hog Russell Westbrook, if that's what he would do. You see what I'm saying? So
that's true.
Making him happy, he might not want to waste a year.
Right. You're right about that. When you add in the dynamic of LaMelo Ball's mind space, not only just as a professional, but as a player, this dude wants to win, even if it's 82 games. And I fully understand that. But I'm thinking from it, just from an organizational standpoint, we're trying to build for the future. And the team currently constructed is just not right now. Right. And again, I think it could be something that if you talk to LaMelo Ball and communicate, because I think that's been one of the negatives about this team so far. the communication has not only been non-existent, but when it has existed, it's always inconsistent. Like it's here and there, or you're gonna do this sometimes on the court. Like before the season, James Borrego, Lamelo Ball, he's the floor general, he's the guy, he's the playmaker of it all, he's the pinnacle. He said this before the season. Now going into the season, you're coaching a totally different way than what you were preaching in the offseason. So now, if you want to make sure LaMelo Ball is happy, you have to communicate with him. So if they do have this communication with LaMelo Ball and he is acceptive of it, I think it could be something that's scary potentially in the future. But they have to go through LaMelo Ball. Everything has to.
Yeah, they should be ask. Go ahead, Fly. I haven't heard you in a minute, bro.
No, I agree with everything he was saying. He was preaching. Now, one thing I do say think about Judah. He really know about Melo from the inside and out. I'm telling you, this guy really studies him extensively. So I kind of let him lead on that front. But that, like I said, man, you just got to run everything through Melo, man. You know, it's going to be exciting playing. I'm really looking forward to playing more than anything. You know, but I could continue. I'm here with y'all.
That's what's up. See, I would like to move Terry and Plumlee coming off the bench. I want Terry to come in, and I think to have a more dynamic starting lineup, you bring in let Montrez start. Let's switch him off, and bring in Kelly Oubre. And I feel like Terry Rozier. Don't give me. That's why I say he could be a good. Kelly Oubre would come out and shoot, right? Terry Rozier is taking it in. He's shooting off the dribble. He's a little more dynamic. Bring him as a scoring guard off the bench. That's how I feel. And it would be a little better. They wouldn't be in each other's way that much.
Bro, like ball facts, it's been so frustrating because even though they have their good moments, I'm watching this team. They are stuck. It is no way currently constructed. I like LaMelo Ball can be an MVP player. Looking at everybody else on this team to win a championship, you have to have pieces top to bottom. I'm looking at this roster. They got Montrez, nice. Oubre, nice. But this team is not like they have to be deeper. If we're going to compete with Miami, Milwaukee, Philly, even Brooklyn, like all of these teams in the East is stacked. We need a third guy. Ballfax, like, do you see anybody on this roster right now that could potentially be the third guy to LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges?
It's supposed to be Terry, man. But like,
do you see that though, Ballfax? Keep it 100.
No. They're not at that level. He's not a third guy that you can really take you to the next level. No. And I always felt like that. Terry is great, but he's a shorter guard. The lifespan goes down. The defense is not there. He's a good bargaining chip. I always like Terry coming off the bench. I didn't like him as a solidified starter. That's just how I feel. So I agree with you on that. We don't have that main third guy.
We need it. That's again, if we're going to be like, we got to look at every team in the league. Like if you don't have those three guys, everybody else on the roster is solid. You got guys coming off the bench, snipers, you got rebounders, you got hustlers all up and down the roster if you don't have those three guys. But if you got those three guys, you are going to be competitive. And we need a third guy. Simple as that. And if we need to make moves in order to make a domino effect, because the game it's not checkers, we got to move like chess. We got to make sure the pieces on the board have to also be moved strategically and in the right direction, right? So we have to make moves for the future. And I'm looking at this team and they're stuck because they don't have a third guy that's going to put them over the top. And then on top of that, ball facts, I don't want to, if you want to get in that James Borrego conversation, we can, but you know what I'm saying? That's an ugly conversation for me. I'm going to keep it a buck, bro.
Yeah, no. We don't need to get too much into that. I mean, but you can speak your piece on it. Let me know how you feel about James Borrego. You can speak your piece on it. Just
go ahead.
Go ahead, Fly. Go ahead, Fly. I want to hear what you say.
No, I was gonna ask y'all about, because you talking about the third guy and all of that. What happens if you can't get a third guy? Do y'all move Bridges? What's your thoughts on Bridges? Because I brought this up on the channel the other day. That I felt that Charlotte is going to be in an uncomfortable position, because what does the extension look like for Miles Bridges? Is it a max deal? Is it a near max? I mean, what's the number? Because I
Mm.
mean, you just gave the contract to Rozier. You got to pay Melo in what, another year or two, and then now you got the situation with Bridges. What do they do? What do they do with him? Do they trade him? Do you max him out? I mean, how does this go? And are y'all comfortable with trading Bridges for something else? To upgrade the roster.
Flight, no. Like I'm sorry. Earlier in the season, I was looking at it and I'm like, he's playing really selfishly. It looks like he's looking off LaMelo. It seems like he's just playing for that money. But all of a sudden, like these last 20 or 30 games, it's been like Miles Bridges and LaMelo Ball show. And they're literally the reason why we are where we are right now. It's because of those two dudes. The way that this dude is playing and bonding on the court with LaMelo, not just on the court, but off the court as well. They're real friends. And also on the court, their games fit perfectly. Not like Terry, how, Terry is just kind of redundant to LaMelo Ball. Even though Miles Bridges does have his selfish moments, his game fits like a glove with LaMelo. So we need him on this team. And then his potential is through the roof. I don't think he's at his ceiling. This dude can get better. So we need Miles Bridges on this team.
I'm with Juju with Miles Bridges. If you get rid of Miles Bridges, then I don't know how LaMelo feels about that. You know what I mean? Like, we see that those two are the guys that you build on. And if you watched the other night, they gave Miles Bridges some award for dealing with the media, like sportsmanship stuff, whatever. It was like a small little trophy, and they handed it to him, and he said thank you. It was showing me that it was like the Hornets letting Miles and letting LaMelo know, we want you here. We think you're a good fit. You need to stay. But with that contract now being renegotiated under that big price, something's got to give. It's going to be like a top-heavy team, even without all the talent. Like the Nets, they had to just figure out their bench. Somehow they end up getting Patty Mills and, some type of good players, and it works out. Can that happen with the Hornets? If they pay Miles Bridges this big lump sum, they still got James Bouknight. We got to see what he's really looking like. You see what I'm saying? Like, they can make things happen. That there's a sniper in the wings that LaMelo would love to have. That is his brother, which is the wild card nobody's expecting. Supposedly he's this and that. You pair him with his brother, they're gonna be like, who is this kid? So I believe they're gonna keep Miles and then let the cards fall where they may and try to figure out the bench. That's where I'm at on that.
So like, okay, so we're all in agreement that they do need a third guy. So obviously it will be a big, right? Or are we looking to get a Bradley Beal, maybe like a good guard to go beside LaMelo? Or what are we looking at here?
Wow.
Terry is supposed to be that guy. So if Terry is not that, I mean, if Terry is up out of there, we can have a guard. But I'm gonna be completely honest. This is how I feel. I feel like if the Hornets would give LaMelo Ball the keys for real, and in a locker room have a huge meeting, individual, collective, all those things with Miles Bridges, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, instead of sending mixed messages saying this guy's our best player, and who's the only all-star you got? If they really got their pecking order down, I believe that the Hornets would be a way better team, because we know LaMelo makes everybody better around him. If they just play their position, then this team can go up. This team don't need a lot of different movements. They just need to buy into it. We haven't even seen the real capability of this team, in my opinion. We haven't seen their ceiling and what they can do because they're not operating right. You need a coach to come in there that's not like Borrego, that's not afraid to say, this is the guy, and y'all better do what y'all got to do. Like what Kobe Bryant said, he would tell everybody at the last seconds of the game, every possession, they got to touch my hand. And that's what he meant. Let me make the decisions. Well, with the Hornets, we see if LaMelo make a few bad decisions, now James Borrego doing like this, and all of a sudden LaMelo kind of passing off to the other guys. No, he need to be able to know, like, you still the guy, let's go. So with even the Hornets making all these moves, I'm okay with it because I believe that it won't get figured out. But I believe if they would figure it out, the Hornets have another notch they could turn up to.
Okay, so currently constructed, you think this team is like a top 4 seed in the East? Like, you think they're better than like the Bulls, the Bucks, Philly, Brooklyn, etc.?
The Bulls without Lonzo, yeah.
No, with Lonzo.
Let me think about,
because he should be back next year. I mean, but I don't want to talk about that. But he's just with Lonzo. He's gonna be back. So
No,
For sure, they're not.
I still give the Bulls. If the Bulls got Lonzo, I'm going with the Bulls. Right now, the Bulls is a
Yeah,
mess because they got all these tools in the kit, but no one to distribute when it's time to go. So I would
true.
say the Hornets when LaMelo is being given the keys. But if Lonzo is back there, then I'm going with the Bulls. But I believe that the Hornets, they could have been 6th seed. They didn't have to be in the play-in if they would have let LaMelo run free. And I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack for that. People are going to say that's not facts. I still believe that. The team is so young, so fast, so athletic that they should have been running through teams. I believe that.
It's not LaMelo, right? It's not LaMelo. It's everything else around him that's not created in the right way so he can succeed. And like I always make the analogies to other teams that were trash. Like Memphis was trash. You get a superstar in Ja Morant and you build around him accordingly. The Hornets are not doing so. And that's why they're not as successful as they should be. And you just said 6th seed. So currently constructed, they're a 5th, 6th seed at best, maybe 4th seed at best. We need to be championship contenders with a dude like LaMelo Ball. And that's my point about all this. Do we need to get a Clint Capela maybe, or maybe somebody that can block shots and then move Jello up from the G League up onto the NBA team? Maybe is that the formula? Like I can't see the way out right now.
I will say this: you right when it comes to I'm talking about just being better, but you talking about being contenders. They definitely need somebody like a Clint Capela. You know what I mean? And of course, y'all know how I feel about LiAngelo. LiAngelo by himself looks like a guy just running around. Like he has good cardio. He runs up and down. That's what he will look like. Why? Because Jello, he expects the best out of people. He expects if I'm open, you'll just pass it, right? Well, guess what? People don't operate in the best. People trying to get contracts. People trying to do what they do. But when you put LiAngelo with LaMelo, he's always leaking out. He's ready to have a quick pull trigger, and he's been working on his jump hook in when everybody think he won't take it in. He's been working on his jump hook big time in the gym. He's back in LA, well, back in Chino Hills, back at the mansion, back to business. That's where LiAngelo's at right now, and he's gonna be ready when he's ready. But LiAngelo paired with LaMelo, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like take some A1 sauce and put it on gummy bears. It's gonna be nasty. Once you put it on the cake, you're like, dang, this is fire. That's LiAngelo paired with any of his brothers, any of them. And so we pair him with LaMelo. Now, what LeVar's been preaching the whole time, you get a high draft pick for free and give it to you for nothing. People think that's a joke. Why do we think that it's such an asinine ideal that LiAngelo is good when he told you about Lonzo? He told you about LaMelo. You just think he's lying about the other one? No, you have not seen what he can do under the circumstances that LeVar said. These are the conditions. You meet these conditions, you got it. But they are afraid to meet those conditions because there's a lot of ramifications that come behind that. But if they make that happen, if LaMelo gets enough clout, enough cachet in the organization that work things out, yes, I agree with you. You bring up his brother and just act like he's lame and you don't care about it. Put him in the open runs and see what he'll do. The same thing he did in order to get into the summer league. Okay, put him in with the garbage minutes. Let him play with LaMelo here or there. See what happens. And when you see what happens on that court, that spark, now you got something. I like Montrezl Harrell. He got a lot of energy and he is a good backup. You know what I'm saying? I put him with Plumlee. I say bring him out forward, but he's a good backup. A guy like a Clint Capela now, like you said, that's a match made in heaven. You got Miles Bridges, Clint Capela, and LiAngelo Ball with LaMelo at the helm. That's not even fair. Now we talking about
that's championship. Yeah, that's what we need. Yeah, for sure. For sure, because Mason Plumlee, I don't think he's gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? This dude runs like he got like rocks in his shoes, bro. Or like it's like, bro, you running like you got high heels on, bro. Like, god dang, bro, my mama with high heels on could run faster than Plumlee, bro. Like, I'm telling you, come on, bro, and catch the basketball. Stop pump faking. Why are you pump faking 5 times? You're 7 foot. Lay the basketball up. I've never seen a more soft 7-footer than Mason Plumlee. Get him out of here. Like, what are we doing, Michael Jordan? Are you kidding me? You have Jello on a G League, and you have Mason Plumlee catching passes and missing layups from LaMelo Ball. You have to be kidding me, Jordan. Get me on the phone with this dude right now, Ball Facts. Stop it, bro. This is fucking crazy. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. This is crazy.
Yeah.
They definitely got to upgrade that position. They should try to see if they get Mitchell Robinson from New York too, or somebody like that. A Rudy Gobert. I think something might be going on with Utah, where smoke is fire. I don't know if you've been hearing some things between him and Donovan Mitchell. I think one of them might be on the outskirts, especially if they lose in the first round. I'm expecting all hell to break loose. So somebody could be available. And I'm hearing their coach could be fired. Quinn Snyder could be fired. So there's a lot going on in Utah. It's just you don't really hear about it because it's Utah. But it's not, things ain't going right out there. So just watch Utah.
Really, what we need is some guys to know their role too. And that's why somebody in the chat said Clint Capela is not that good. Clint Capela is very good because he is great at what he's supposed to do. Run the floor, block shots, and dunk on you if he need to. Get rebounds. He's great at that, and that's all they need. This is what LeVar told me. He said, I always paired Lonzo, and his brothers once they got older too, with like bums, so to speak. People that weren't that good.
Yep.
Because if you get somebody that knows their the role, it's just going to run and rebound and do what they do best, the intangibles. You're not going to have, not every center in the league is Joel Embiid, and they don't got to be. They just got to be good at what they are good at and not try to do like Mason Plumlee. I almost called him Plumlee because you Mason Plumlee had the ball and dribble up the court, and LaMelo will be like this. I don't get it. I don't see why. I'm like, what are you doing? If I was the coach, I would blow the whistle every time he started dribbling the ball on the court and say, come sit down. Get in there, Montrez. Like, we don't know what you're doing. So
I figured it out.
What's up?
Ball facts. Mason Plumlee is trying to be a 7-foot Ricky Rubio. I've never seen any 7-footer as garbage as this dude actually try to initiate the offense, bro. Like, in James Borrego, this is the worst thing about it. James Borrego is not saying anything. He's literally let him doing it. And it's like nothing is being said. And bro, like, I don't know if I got to get courtside like tickets by the bench just so I can talk to everybody like, hey, bro, Borrego, what are you doing? Like, do I got a coach now? Like, this is simple stuff, ball facts. And, at some point, it's not just the players. Like, it's the coach as well. You got to put players in the right position to succeed. You can't have Mason Plumlee bringing up the basketball and LaMelo Ball being wide open in the corner and he's just looking them off trying to shoot layups. Like, you can't even make layups. Like, what are you doing? Like,
I will say, I'm with you. I wonder why Borrego is letting this happen. I'm thinking this is a play. If you rebound the ball, Plumlee, then you run up and there's got to be some play called Plum, and they calling it because he's running up the court and it's happening. And in the play-in, we can't have none of that. We can't have none of that. And why you think? Look at Trae Young. Trae Young has who we talking about again? I forgot his center, Capela. And if you watch their games, man, he goes good with a guard that dribbles and shoots and passes. He just does all the garbage work. He's like a bigger Draymond Green that can't really shoot. You know what I mean? Like Clint Capela will be a perfect.
Yep. The thing about it is we just need people that don't do too much. Like, you don't have to dribble the ball 3 times. LaMelo Ball is going to put you in perfect position to score the basketball. It's very simple. Like, just like LeVar said, it's very simple basketball, right? You just play your role, you stay in your lane, and you do what you're coached to do. The worst part about it is the coach isn't coaching the players to do what they're supposed to do. He's coaching them to do literally the opposite. Like, this is crazy to me. But, I'm still pretty happy with what we did this year so far. So it's pretty.
What if Borrego cost them this playing game? What if everything come to life on national television Wednesday night?
if LaMelo is getting benched, shout out to Hoop Jargon. What's good, bro? If LaMelo is getting benched in this playing game, any game, and we lose, bro, I'm gonna be hot. I try to be more responsible with my videos now. You know what I mean? When I was more under the radar, I would be a little more reckless. So I'll be trying to be keeping it. You know what I mean? Like don't get too crazy. But somebody got to say something. I'm gonna say something. You know what I mean? And I've been taking it cool on Borrego because I see the good things he does. I've coached a little bit. I see some of the good things that he does, but then there's other things just very questionable. But if he costs him this play-in right here, this tournament, if he does it, if not the team, not the players, if he costs him that, yeah, we definitely got to talk about that.
If he costs him that, he's done. Like, bro.
But he just signed a deal too.
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying, bro. It's like, bro, these dudes be bro, you can obviously tell that they're not the right fit for this team. And then Jordan just extends these dudes. Like, are they playing golf every Sunday or something? Like, what's going on, Michael Jordan? God dang. Come on, bro. Sheesh. But yeah, James Borrego, like, again, I've went to war about this dude. Like I said, he's a very good X&O coach. When it comes to, the scheme and, running plays and things of that nature, inbound plays, things of that nature, he's really good at that, right? He's good at, drawing up plays and things of that nature. Great job. But when it comes to managing personalities, putting people in their places like you should do being the head coach of the team, right? You have to be a leader. James Borrego is not displaying the right leadership qualities for this team. And we have too many young players on this team to be successful with the inadequate coach, right? So that might have to be the first move to be made before we make any like deals in terms of the roster. So, I got to look at some coaches that's on the list, but I know there's some pretty good coaches out there, bruh, that's sitting on their butt that's better than James Borrego.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. But it's not always about like how good you do, is who you know. And that's like with any job. So these guys, they rub shoulders and they have meetings and they talk and they're like, this guy will get a job because he's got a certain relationship. Now, when you get in there, now it's got to be about what you're doing.
Yep. Totally right about that.
Flight, you back?
Yeah, I'm back. My fault. I'm hitting the wrong button on my phone. My fault.
Yeah, so Flight, what you think about like James Borrego? Do you think this team needs to make a coaching move this offseason if they don't make if they don't make the playoffs?
Absolutely. I think for some reason I think he might be safe for another year. I think he's not as on the hot seat as we all think he is or want him to be. I think he gets another shot at this. But I think you need a coaching change, definitely. I think of more veteran, a guy that's been around the league a little bit longer than him. And this, like I said, Borrego's not the worst coach in basketball and nothing like that. Maybe he deserved a job, but maybe not this one.
Assistant coaching job.
Yeah, because I think the process, the thing is, I don't think it's. I think more just a developmental process. Maybe like coaching the Orlando Magic. I think he'll be good. I think Lamelo accelerated the process a little bit too quickly. Or even Borrego going to the New York Knicks or something like that. And I think Lamelo just accelerating this thing. It's like usually you get a rookie in, you got maybe 4 years, 5 years to get competitive. But Lamelo, he's knocking on the competitive door now. You understand? He was knocking on the door last season. So it's almost like we're going to have to get a better coach. We got to get a better roster a little bit faster than we may have thought. Or like I said, we're going to continue to be in this playing situation, so it is what it is.
And you made an excellent point when you mentioned like Borrego and like Lamelo, because Lamelo is a superstar and James Borrego has never had his hands on a talent like Lamelo Ball. He's used to getting a rookie like a Devontae Graham, even a Miles Bridges that's now a really good player. But when he first came in the league, he had a lot of things to work on. PJ Washington. He's used to getting these type of players where he has to step in and help develop them and really have his hand fully in the cookie jar. But the difference with LaMelo Ball is that this dude is a superstar. It's coaching that you have to do with LaMelo Ball, but it's not too much hands-on things that you have. You don't have to do too much pulling out the game, things of that nature. He learns just by playing, and he soaks up. He's like a sponge, and he learns so fast. So James Borrego, it's tough for him to have that right coaching style with LaMelo Ball because he's not used to that type of talent. Because we do see him kind of throw shots at LaMelo Ball like in post games, things of that nature. I remember earlier in the season after that Boston game that went into like triple overtime and LaMelo Ball had like 30 points, had like 11 threes. James Borrego comes out after the game. Oh, LaMelo Ball, man, he has to take better shots at the end of games. Oh, he has to do these things better. It seems like he's nitpicking his game so he can boist up his coaching ability because he knows there's not too much you can do with LaMelo Ball in terms of coaching. He's a player. He's going to get better on his own. So I think that's the main bad thing about their relationship is just James Borrego has no experience with coaching a superstar player.
What you think, Alan? Sorry, so this guy just joined.
You good?
But he ain't say nothing.
Do you know
And
who he is?
no, I have no clue. Just let him on. But it ain't Foster. No, I'm kidding. No, but everything is like we need to see. We haven't seen James in the playoffs or play-ins either. So this will be a good, a test for him to see how he adjusts to this. Is he gonna overcoach things, or is he gonna pop in there and just allow this man to go? Alan, I'm about to get you up out of here because you ain't say nothing, man. And we're gonna add the big homie Hoop Jargon. What's good?
Hoop jargon.
Big hoop jargon. Sure.
Hey Jay. Oh, he ain't. We'll let him chill. He might be.
Hey, can I say one thing? Can I just address one person? Because somebody said, is the guy that ever talking, have I ever coached basketball? I'm kind of young. I might coach basketball when I get a little older. I think that's kind of for older people, but you know what I'm saying? I might play in some leagues, but I don't have to coach basketball to know a good coach. I mean, we know what a good coach is, especially in the NBA. We know certain traits in coaches in the NBA. It's not hard to understand it if you watch enough basketball and you understand it. And again, I've already mentioned my points about why James Borrego isn't the right coach. And that has nothing to do with me being a coach or anybody being a coach. It's just simply watching the games, watching the post-game conferences, and actually researching things about the team. It's simply that. So, James Borrego, he needs to get punted. End the story. And if you want to come up here and debate me about it, come up here and debate me about it. What's good?
Oh, somebody in the chat caping for him, man. They want this guy to stick around.
Who is that? What's the name so I can find it?
I don't even know. Let me scroll up. Hold on. I'm on my computer.
Trying to get a man a lifeline.
Tyler Lee, what's good? Come up here, bro. Drop the link for him. I think that's him.
He ain't gonna come, man. He ain't gonna come.
I know he ain't gonna come.
I barely go live on Ball Facts, so
yeah, you gotta start going live more, bro. Your junk is
and this joint is lit. I'm telling
I probably do, but I've been working and cooking up some other stuff on the business side of Ball Facts, but I'm gonna try to do this more because I'm enjoying this. What's up, Hoop Jargon?
What up?
Oh, I see what you did. You had to get the right logo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you see, I came in with the Razor Ramon. I had to switch that back up to the OG shit.
Yeah. You heard what we've been talking about. What's your take on anything so far?
Yeah, man. Well, it's the thing with Borrego, man. I know we all been frustrated with Borrego for a little bit. And reality is, man, Borrego, a third-year head coach? And what coaches struggle with, man, I don't care what level. And shout out to my guy Talvin Hester, man. He's the new head coach at Louisiana Tech University, and it's his first head coaching job. He's been at like Texas Tech, he's been at Creighton, he's been at big programs. You know what I'm saying? University of Houston. And he always said, like, when I get my first head coach job, I'm kind of scared because it's my program, it's my way. And what that means is when a lot of guys get their own stuff, you literally can get fired by going on somebody else's whim. And you struggle for that balance of like, I'm gonna implement what I'm doing, I'm gonna implement what I'm about, but still try to have leeway to talent like we all know LaMelo Ball to be. Like, where's the balance? You know what I mean? And younger coaches don't know yet. And so let's juxtapose it against like a guy who just understands things at a high clip, like a Phil Jackson. He knows already. He knows what buttons to push. He knows what he has. He knows how to manipulate, however you want to, describe that as. And it makes it easier to coach talent. Young guys struggle with coaching talent because it's a push-pull effect. Like, do I overcoach them? Do I undercoach them? Do I look like I'm being unfair to lesser talent? As we know, the whole roster is lesser talent than LaMelo, right? And I think he's just going through that curve, man. And it's frustrating as fans to watch it. But for me, stepping back and just looking at it like pragmatically, that's what he's doing, in my opinion. And like Juju was saying, he's a great X and O's coaches. I mean, most guys from the Popovich coaching tree are. You know what I'm saying? Like your Mike Browns, your Budenholzer, Ime Udoka, who's doing a fantastic job in Boston right now. Right?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just some guys, they struggle with that power balance. And I'm sure MJ in his ear. And I don't care if you say he's the worst GM/owner ever. He's still Michael Jordan at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So you got to factor all those things in. There's a lot of people in your ear. And I just don't think he's found what he wants to be all the way, because us on the outside looking in is just like, yo, give LaMelo the keys. But if we're gonna look at it properly, look at what's going on for the Grizzlies. Ja didn't get the keys to like year 3. So I know we like to compare that, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, well, Ja got the keys. It took him 3 years to get the keys. So maybe next year he'll get it. But I just see a developing coach who is mismanaging talent that is probably better than his coaching is, but that's a hard sell to a coach. You know what I mean? It's hard for him to admit that because you think you're better than the sum of your parts, when in reality, if you just step back a little bit and let LaMelo do his thing, he'll make you look better than what you are.
I agree with some of that. I think Ja got the keys before year 3.
Facts.
I just think he put his foot on the pedal at that point. But I believe they
It's most
gave him.
pronounced. Yeah, I'm with you.
I
Yeah,
think
they
gave it
had,
to him.
bro. They
I
had
agree
LaMelo
too.
coming off. They had LaMelo coming off the bench, bro. Year 1, like Morant did not go through that. So I mean, like it.
But
I
he was
mean,
out
if
of
we're
games,
considering that, like if LaMelo Ball came in just starting off the bat, he would have been way better this year. You know how much experience and fourth quarter action and all types of stuff he would have got from just rookie year, just starting those first 20 some odd games. He would have been way better. But they refused to, do what they're supposed to do as the team or as a coaching staff, honestly, because it's Borrego. But I don't think it's Jordan though. Too, a lot of people like to say it's Jordan, but I don't know. I think it's Borrego mostly.
Well, I'll say this too. So somebody in the chat said that Ja got it. Well, you got to understand too. Coach has implemented like an actual system that does not include Ja Morant over there in Memphis. Because what's the stat? Like they have a better record without him. So
Ooh, true.
Okay,
that's
that's some facts right there. That's
Big
good.
facts. Big facts.
So we got to keep all this stuff in context when we do it, because I know we all love LaMelo. We all want the best for him. But when we make the comparisons, we got to keep everything in context to fully understand what's going on. So I do want to add that little tidbit.
The question is LaMelo, even though he's young, we know he's far advanced than his years because he always played up. But despite his teammates, despite the coach, is LaMelo going to go to a level that we want to see, that we believe he can go to in these playing games? I don't know if you remember, there was a certain game that LeBron played it when he was back in Cleveland. It was against the Celtics. It was like a must win. He didn't smile the entire game. He came out at another level. And I feel like if LeBron did that his whole career, it would be a different conversation with him and Mike. But is LaMelo going to come to this level that, of course, his father says, you ain't seen Zoe playoff Zoe. Well, now we're about to see a playoff type of LaMelo atmosphere. Will he command that respect on the court? Is he just going to come out and, leaders aren't always given it something. They got to go out there and take it. And I feel like LaMelo right now in this playing tournaments, if they win these next 2 games with him commanding the team, I believe that they will step back and say, okay, LaMelo, this is your team. Even his teammates. Right now is the time he can take control, and his destiny is in his hands. Is his shot percentage going to be good? Is his turnover is going to be low? If he can do that now, I believe he's going to solidify himself as who he is on this team. Shout out to Jersey Rich.
Hey,
Please
what's
kind
going
of
on,
turn
Ball
your.
Facts?
What's up, man? You got a little volume in the background.
Because I'm listening to y'all on my computer too. We cut that down. I don't know if y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah.
All right, man. How y'all doing?
What's up,
Decent,
brother?
decent.
Hanging in there. Just giving my little intake on it. I'm a big Ball Facts, supporter.
Appreciate that, bro. Go ahead. Let's hear the take.
Man, I'm with y'all with the coach, man. Like the coach got to go, man. I feel like a lot of the losses comes with him taking Melo out on a lot of bad possessions, and I feel like they should be in a better seat than what they are right now. I feel like the coach has a lot to do with a lot of their losses. Is my opinion.
Well, that's most coaches, bro.
But do you think Borrego is
Shut
the
up,
biggest
Jersey
problem with the
Mike.
Hornets?
I want to say he's the biggest problem, but I feel like he has a lot to do with not giving LaMelo the keys. I don't feel like LaMelo has 100% the keys to the organization as he should. I don't feel like they're not showcasing his skills like that and letting him, have a rock like he should do.
Okay, I got you.
I agree with that. But Well, I partially agree. Like a lot of people see, maybe I'm just harder on Borrego because I really stood up for him before the season. Like I'm like, bro, this dude is a good S&O coach. He got LaMelo at his house playing with his kids. I'm like, oh, he talking all this stuff in the off season, post game conferences, or not post game conferences, but post practice conferences or whatever. LaMelo Ball's the general. He's the reason why we're gonna be as good. I'm like, wow, he's hyping me up. Go into the season. He's like averaging like what 27, 26 minutes the first 20 something games of the season. I'm like, bro, it's simple things, right? If not letting him literally in second halves, not letting him in the fourth quarters. I understand LaMelo Ball is in foul trouble a lot this year, which has been a problem that he needs to overcome. But James Borrego earlier in the season, I felt like should have had a lot more trust in LaMelo Ball to play through some things so he can develop and grow as a player. And for whatever reason, his developmental skills when it comes to LaMelo Ball specifically is horrible. Anybody else, Devontae Graham, Miles Bridges, PJ Washington, somehow they get better. This dude cannot coach LaMelo Ball to be better. LaMelo Ball is just who he is. And if he wasn't, James Borrego would be looking crazy right now.
Yeah, like they say, 101, right? That's LaMelo's brand, 101.
It's facts.
You can't coach him.
101. And it really comes to like, do you believe his father? Because what LeVar do is you train, you get reps in, you play scrimmages. And when you do bad, he get on you, right? But when you're doing good, he letting you fly, letting you go. And if you know anything about the Ball brothers, yes, you can teach them X's and O's. They got to know that. But you can't do it to a point where you take away their main advantage. The thing that makes them who they are, playing fast and playing off of instincts. You got to get some guys who are, like Bruce Lee said, like water, who can flow. Let this brother get in there and run, and then we're going to really see what he can do. One thing we know he can consistently do is play make and just play off of instinct. So you never take that away from him. That's what you never do.
Well, let me say this. I mean, the problem is, as we've all been saying as supporters for the longest, we all know this. We all believe this in ball facts. Me and you know this firsthand. Like that's what LeVar has instilled with them. You know what I'm saying? Problem is, everybody hasn't been privy to that type of experience in LeVar and understand the full story of how his kids have learned to play, and they just don't believe in it. And I say this because I've talked to former NBA players about LeVar. I always bring it up. I find a way to sneak it in, the interview. And they just don't see it. They may rock with LeVar, but they fundamentally don't buy into that style of play per se.
Right.
So I think that may be the dilemma. That's why we see it plain as day. Like let him be LaMelo, but reality is everybody parents think that. Everybody parents think let Tay Bay be Tay Bay. You know what I'm saying? Everybody thinks that. You feel me? So that's where the conundrum is. Even though with us it's like it's plain as day, dog. LaMelo Ball is your Ferrari. Let the Ferrari run. Don't put the Ferrari, in the parking lot. Let it run on the freeway. But the problem is everybody doesn't see it that way because they got 14 guys on the roster. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Shout out to the troll in the chat, Dennis. You all cap. Zay the Goat said, "What's next for Jello?" For Jello, now I don't know any of this for sure, but I would just say don't expect him. This is just what I think. Don't expect him to be with the Swarm. Expect to see him playing in another jersey next year. That's what I would, if I had to guess. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. I don't see him going back there.
Breaking news.
But
definitely don't go back there.
Jello's back in Chino Hills right now, back to doing what he always do, staying ready.
Wow.
He's staying ready back in Chino Hills. That's what Jello's on right now.
But what about the summer? So it should be a Jello summer, right? Jello gonna take over the summer, right?
I guess we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
Do you feel like the Hornets is the Hornets is the best organization for the brothers?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, don't get me wrong. If the brothers are together, they can thrive anywhere. But I say take them to a big market, put them where they're used to being. They've been playing in front of sold out crowds since they was little kids. You see what I'm saying? They ready for the glitz, glamour, the big lights.
Facts.
They don't need a small market.
Facts.
If they're all together, you send them somewhere huge. And I prefer, somewhere that's warm. You know what I mean? Because that's what they like.
Ball facts. Let's keep it. This is one of the most poorly run franchises in the NBA. You know, they got lucky. LaMelo fell in their lap. Let's be honest.
And they still fumbling the bag, hoop
You know what I'm
jargon.
saying? Like, come on now. Let's be honest here. You know, and I'm not here, you know, to just besmirch Michael Jordan because that's somebody I hold in very high regard. But I mean, from the Bobcats on forward, this is a horribly run organization. Like, do we need to run down the names of Portland?
No, please
No, don't do that. Let's
man.
not turn this into a Hornet organization bashing thing. I
Well,
got
nah,
some stuff going on in the background. I can't have that.
I'm
We can't do that.
I'm with you. So I'm not. It's not about me bashing them. It's just me being pragmatic about it. Like, this organization is just showing who they are. So to the question, would you rather see it somewhere else? Yeah, I would. To somewhere that's, you know, is more privy to handle this type of star power and to showcase it properly. I do think there are there are heaps of other franchises that can do a better job. Just saying.
What we all don't want to see is LaMelo have wasted years. That's what we don't want to see.
Absolutely.
Because what we're seeing is the trajectory that he's on right now is like, well, how far could this guy go in the playoffs if he has some, you know, the right team around him? It's looking like he could go pretty far. And so we don't want to see him sitting around and just getting injured and wasting time. But like, it's a rookie contract, 2 more years. His contract gonna be up, and we'll see if the Hornets have done enough to say you should stay here. You should build this franchise. You should be known here. Absolutely. And I don't think they're in that direction right now. We shall see. The biggest thing that they have is the guys that he's playing with, like, you know, the Miles Bridges and stuff like that, the relationships that he's gaining with these guys. If you keep these guys, that's going to be your bargaining chip. But then you got to look at how they did your brother. You know what I mean? So it could go either way.
I got a question for you, Ball Facts.
What's up, bro?
I don't know if you guys covered already with the Westbrook situation. How do y'all? I mean, you can go short verse if you guys already covered it, but like with the addition to coming into the Hornets, how y'all feel about that? Because
there's 2 takes on it. There's one take that Juju talked about. He so eloquently delivered the message. If they get Russell Westbrook for only 1 year, they'll have a lot of money and they can build after that. So that year is basically like a throwaway year, and we'll see what happens. And I'm saying, like, before he said that, I said I don't want to see Westbrook anywhere near the Hornets organization because I don't think he's in a mindset of where Carmelo Anthony eventually got. I can come off the bench. I'm not that guy. I feel like his mindset and his ego is, and, you know, I don't know him personally, but just off of the actions that we see in the interviews and on the court, Russell Westbrook still think he's that guy. I don't see him coming into Charlotte saying I'm a third option. I see him saying, give me the ball. And I don't want that anywhere near LaMelo.
And the reason why I asked that, because you just mentioned about a wasted year. And in my opinion, if that's what you're going to do, I understand the expiring contract, which is very lucrative. Like, that's $44 million off the books. If you can move
right,
you know, that's nothing, you know, to bat an eye at. But at the same time is, do I want to waste another year with LaMelo playing in the Westbrook? Because like you just said, Ball Facts, nothing about him has shown that I want to sit back and be a mentor. Because, I mean, if we're being honest, beside like Moxie, what can Russell Westbrook teach LaMelo Ball?
Right. Like, nobody can teach nobody nothing. Nobody can teach
triple doubles.
He's not a point guard.
Triple doubles.
Come on, he a 2 guard.
Yeah, he can't really teach LaMelo Ball.
LaMelo's already scratching the surface of a triple double every night. But he can't teach him nothing about no triple double.
He's naturally that.
But I got a question for you though, because you're saying a wasted year. Because again, I had a lot of faith in this team, and the way I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, Terry has 4 years, right? Gordon has 2 years, right? I'm already looking at this team. They're not going to be better than Milwaukee, Chicago with Lonzo, Miami, Cleveland, Philly, Brooklyn. They're not going to be better than those teams currently constructed, right? So I'm looking at it like those guys are going to be on longer deals, and we're wasting years anyway because we're not competing for a championship with this team. So what we do is get rid of the problem quicker by getting rid of Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier and opening up cap space so we can build around LaMelo Ball more proficiently than we did originally, because we made a lot of mistakes, like I mentioned earlier, because, again, this team really did underestimate LaMelo Ball. And it's crazy because they were one of the only teams to watch him in the NBL. Like, Mitch was there when he had like a couple triple doubles in a row. So, I mean, I don't understand how you underrate him so much that you have to go after Gordon Hayward for, $30 million. But, in my opinion, I just think if we do trade for Westbrook, I think if we do get rid of Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier, I don't think it's a bad move.
I can respect that take because it's more or less just kind of looking long term instead of the here and now. But it kind of crosses lanes what we were just saying about wasting LaMelo's talent. And in my opinion, I'm a Laker fan. And if y'all look on my channel, I've been on Russell Westbrook tail for a minute now. I think y'all are.
Yeah, you been going in on Joy DeAngelo?
man, God bless Joy DeAngelo, man. I went on her stream and she wouldn't let me talk. So I was like, man, I just got off because I don't do that. But whatever. Shout out to Joy DeAngelo. No hate there. But I've been, consistent about what I've been saying about Russell Westbrook. In my opinion, he's a me guy. You're not going to have a high level of success with a guy who's a me guy playing out of position, who can't understand nuance with basketball. Because how do we know that? His shooting levels are record low. I think he's shooting 30% from three, 69% from free throw, which is horrible for a point guard, right? We know that. So, and he's declining, and he's getting booed in the. I live out in LA, getting booed out here at the crypto.com arena, whatever they call it now. Yeah,
that's terrible too. That's unfair as fuck. Because that man, he's literally sacrificed his game and literally was trying to give LeBron an AD and try to be the third guy, and they kind of turned it on him. But we don't have to get on that.
I'll say this, Juju, you still got to be able to acquiesce your game to the situation. In my opinion, he still think he's gonna be himself, and every time he gets interviewed, he act like it's not a big deal. It's no problem. Cool, but like Ball Effect said, your resume speaks for itself. What you say, it speaks for itself. You are what you are. You're a solo act. So you don't bring a solo act in my opinion, that's going to hinder LaMelo's progress because he's talented. We all know that. Very talented. Right. But I would hate to lose a year of LaMelo development for that cash dump, which makes sense, Juju. I'm with you.
But I got a question, though, because you're saying we're wasting his year with Westbrook. Yeah. So what's your opinion of not wasting a year? Like, is this competing for a championship, not wasting a year of LaMelo Ball, being a top 4 seed? What's your opinion or what's your definition of not wasting LaMelo Ball's developmental year?
Great question. My opinion of what is not developing, not hindering him, is letting him just go. Let him play 30-plus minutes a game. Let him be the absolute provocateur of that offense, being the alpha and omega of what Charlotte does. That's what a good development year is for me. Now, as far as playoffs, it's a young team. I don't have unrealistic expectations for that because it's just unrealistic. Like, you don't have star players there yet. So,
but that's development though. Like, if they're not getting, like, again, last year we're in the play-in. This year we're in the play. We're in the same spot that we were in last year. Like, it's cool to see individual development, but at the end of the day, the biggest thing is winning. And if this team isn't gaining playoff success year after year, then it's obviously should be apparent that we should make a move so we can get better pieces to surround LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges. That's just my opinion.
I disagree.
I'll say this though. Let me cut it real quick.
Oh, go ahead, Ball Face. My bad.
And then you can cut in Hoop Dragon. I'm gonna try to make it quick. A wasted year is the Lakers' year. At least they made a play-in, but if he couldn't do it with LeBron leading the league in scoring, what is he going to do to the Hornets team? That's the question. And then dealing with all that bad press for the entire year could take a toll on you. So to me, a wasted year is the Lakers season. That's a wasted year.
Like Ball Effects, that's the thing though. For Russell Westbrook individually, on the Lakers was just a recipe for disaster. This team is a lot better because I mentioned earlier, Jordan, who's been his mentor since he's come in the league, is going to be the guy overseeing this whole operation if it does happen, right? So that's off the top going to be better. And then he's playing with young guys opposed to playing with people like LeBron, AD, that have egos out this world. So really, if you think about it in a retrospect, like individually, Russell Westbrook will have more opportunity, especially with LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball likes to let guys around him shine. Like, he's not a guy that, of course, he's going to shine on his own because he's a star in him. He's a star, right? He's going to shine. But despite being a star, he's going to shine on everybody else around him, which is going to be better than playing with like LeBron and AD and in LA versus playing in Charlotte, where it's not a lot of press. It's not a lot of ESPN. Oh, you got to trade Westbrook every day. Stephen A. Smith coming at your neck every day. It's not the same thing media-wise. So individually, it's a better situation for Russell Westbrook as well.
It will be better for him.
maybe
I'll
not
give
for
you
the
that. It'll be better for
organization.
Russ. What's up, Jersey? What you say?
No, I said it'll be good for him, but not for the organization. The Hornets, I feel like he like you said, he's gonna want to take over, and that might mess up the rhythm of the other players because you know he likes to take over the game a lot and make bad decisions sometimes. I don't know how that's gonna play out if he goes there. I don't feel like that's gonna. I feel like that's gonna go against him, in my opinion.
So Juju, you think that if they made that trade, they would be in the same place they are or better
Yes,
or worse?
I swear, ball facts. I swear they would be right now where they are next year with Westbrook. They were right around where they are right now. Play in 10th seed, like I've been saying. They've been successful because of who? LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges. As long as you have those two pieces and you letting them run wild. And again, I don't think bringing Westbrook on this team with all the factors that I listed, LaMelo Ball being an unselfish player, Jordan overseeing the operation, Westbrook being in a totally better situation media-wise, not taking the same scrutiny. So it's going to be a different situation for Westbrook individually to actually maybe play a little bit more unselfish than he did before. A lot of people like to, put Westbrook under the bus. I think he was a pretty decent mentor on the Thunder squad. I think he did a pretty good job mentoring those young players like Victor Oladipo. What's the other guy's name? Robertson, Andre Robertson, multiple young players that he was good at mentoring. So I don't think it would be bad on this Hornets team for 1 year. We will be exactly where we are right now. Tim C competing for the play-in.
Juju, I vehemently disagree with that. And the reason why I say that, I got a homie who's kind of privy to NBA stuff, and we talk about stuff like this, and he's good friends with KD. On my videos, he's a dude who got Kendrick Perkins on the stream with him. We talk about this a lot. These dudes love Russell Westbrook as a friend. They do not like him as a teammate.
Wow.
And the reason why, because he's a solo act. So these dudes, because he's a cool guy, like everybody loves him. Like he's a fun guy. He's funny. He's charismatic.
True.
But at the end of the day, it's all about him. That's just who he is. He's always been that way since UCLA and going forward. So when you bring that in at the point guard position, I'm sorry, he's just a one-trick pony. That's just what he does, and he doesn't play defense. So I shared on my stream the other day. He's like what 249th ranked defensively.
Yeah,
he's horrible. He's horrible on defense. So I'm not just judging it just off one aspect of the game. It's just something like culturally, like you gain nothing from having him as far as mentorship. He's not showing an example. Now, as far as his moxie, and I let in with that, and moxie just meaning basically he a dog. He's that. But I mean, LaMelo don't need that. LaMelo don't need that.
I disagree with that because he is an example. Like, if you want to talk about on the court, sure, because he's a selfish player, but this is the NBA. Everybody's selfish. Like, DeMar DeRozan is like going between his legs 3,000 times, pulling up every time for a game winner for the Bulls. And, a lot of people, he's in the MVP conversation. Everybody plays selfish. So I hate to hear that argument, right? But my thing with this is like he is an example off the court. This dude is a workaholic. He's always working. He's always in the gym. He's always like he's the type of dude. LaMelo Ball's the same way. These dudes are they're gym dudes. They're always gonna be in the gym, putting up shots, always practicing. Like I think Russell Westbrook would be a pretty decent example for this team. A lot of people like to make it as bad, like make it look a lot worse because of the Lakers situation. But again, I don't put that on Russell Westbrook, bro. That's not really all of his fault.
Huh? What does he work on? What does he work on that helps his team?
You said, what does he work on that helps the team?
Yeah.
I think when it comes to hustle, energy, just always bringing that high level of intensity. Okay. I think if he's bought in, right? This is the thing with Jordan. I've always mentioned Jordan. You have taken contests. If Jordan is in this and he can buy him in, also LaMelo and buy them in for one season, I think he could bring good qualities as a leader to this team that could rub off on them.
I just want to know what he work on.
What did you mean? What does he work on in terms of games?
If he's a gym rat, now I understand the hustle part, but that's kind of like heart. That's in your heart. Like
bro,
you don't work on heart.
Hoop. He's literally. I can go on YouTube and see so many clips of him working out in the summer in the gym playing 5-on-5. Rico Hines. What do you mean? He's always hooping.
So okay. So I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
In my opinion, playing 5-on-5 is not working out.
Against NBA players?
I'm sorry?
Against NBA players, it's not working out?
Not if you need to work on specific parts of your game. Going up and down is just situational stuff. In my opinion, what Russell Westbrook should have been working on: defense, shooting, defense,
Yeah.
shooting.
That's being bought in though. I think that's just him. Like the coach isn't buying him in on that specific
It's
team.
his whole career, Juju. His whole career has been a south of 33% from 3-point, which is horrible.
Oh, 3-point.
Yeah.
I was talking about
Michael
defense.
Jordan shot like
It definitely
19%.
doesn't fit
When
for
he first
Charlotte.
came in, he worked his way up to the.
He just can't shoot though. Like Rondo couldn't shoot. Like I don't think that means he's not valuable. It's
But
a
you
lot
know
of
what?
players
Rondo
he just can't shoot.
But Rondo didn't shoot. He still shoots when he can't
And
shoot.
that's good and bad though, because
It's
sometimes he
horrible.
needs to
No,
shoot
no,
and he
it's horrible.
doesn't shoot.
It's horrible.
Juju.
Well, it's good and bad to it. But all right, go ahead.
Russell Westbrook, he was getting paid more than LeBron. He robbed the Lakers more than Ben Simmons robbed the 76ers last season.
Come on, man.
Because it's not that he just didn't show up. No, he showed up and caused negative press, negative attention.
Absolutely.
And the fact that he never humbled himself on camera makes people not want to bring him into their organization.
Absolutely.
And it's not our organization, but as fans, whatever. He ain't never said in the interview that he really is like, the fans bought the tickets. They cost a lot of money. The fans, they've been the 3 generations loving the Lakers, and I want to deliver to them. LeBron tried to take accountability, and I can say that. He came at it humble, and he's way bigger than Russell Westbrook. Yeah, we're not doing so well, and I'm going to try to fix it. I'm trying to make promises to you. Russell Westbrook was like, why are you talking to me? You don't know me like that.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing my job. You go do your job. Like he wasn't a public figure. So
right.
it is that ego. Why should we as Hornets fans believe that he's going to come any differently? Exactly. If this man ain't coming differently next to LeBron James, who they've handed the league to right now as the king, and how is he going to do anything different with LaMelo?
Stop.
No. If
this LeBron, this dude, he tears dudes' careers down. People go play with LeBron and be like, nah, like Jay Crowder, Kyrie. Nah, I don't want to play with LeBron. Like, that's not the best thing.
No. I agree with that as well. There's many guys who don't make it the same after LeBron James. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying Russell Westbrook wouldn't humble himself in those scenarios. So it'd be different if he was coming saying, like Isaiah Thomas actually said, even though I feel in Isaiah Thomas' heart, he still feel he's the guy, he's able to humble himself and take a back seat.
But it took him getting cut like 4 times.
Exactly. Russell Westbrook is not in that. He don't have humility in that state. He's not coming saying, I'll come off the bench. Whatever you need me to do, I'll just do it. No, he's showing up like he's that guy. And we don't need that in Charlotte. That will not be conducive. Why? He plays the exact same position as Lamelo Ball. It's not like he is a
positionless league.
Facts.
Positionless league.
No, positionless league.
LaMelo can play with anybody, man. I'm not worried about that.
The best teams don't do that, Juju. The best teams don't play positionless basketball. They got defined roles, man.
But we're not worried about we're not worried about the team's success for this 1 year. The biggest argument or the biggest problem here is like stunting LaMelo Ball's growth. My argument here is that LaMelo Ball is supremely talented. Whatever Westbrook brings, ego-wise, is already on this team with Terry Rozier and Gordon Hayward. And those problems will exist longer, right? If we didn't make the move. So
do you think their ego is anywhere close to Russell Westbrook? Be honest.
Cut it out.
We talk about the dude
individually, no. I answered this. Individually, no. But if we take into account all of them and then James Borrego as well, I mean, this team is going to be stuck where they are with those egos. They're like it all adds up.
I feel that, but if we're being honest, no. All of them combined don't. We talking about the dude that threatened to fight many fans, and then when it come back on him, it's something. He's just a ball of chaos, man. It is what it is. That's what you get with Russell Westbrook. It's the whole experience, and like Ball Facts just saying about accountability, because in reality, he's a worse version of LeBron, a triple threat with 5 inches shorter, less efficient. Can't shoot. He's way out of Westbrook.
Okay, he's a
y'all Westbrook haters, man.
That's why he shouldn't be. That's why he shouldn't be.
Juju, we like him in his position, but when he steps into another man's lane, like he's that franchise guy who can lead you to a chip, that's where we tell him to get back in the back seat, bro.
But we're not telling him to do that.
Player.
But
that's what I'm telling him to do. If you come to Charlotte, get your butt in the back seat. That's what I'm telling him.
Right, but I'm saying, this is my point though. Like, and earlier, like y'all are bringing up the Lakers, and I hate to use the Lakers, bro, for him as an example because like you said like that's a best case scenario. I'm looking at it like, whoa, that's the worst case scenario. That's literally a pot with like all types of stuff in it that could explode at any moment. It is no way that is better than being in Charlotte without the media scrutiny, without LeBron James' ego and AD ego, their shadows overshadowing you. Like I mentioned earlier, it's not about their games. LaMelo Ball can step back and let him shine, and he can still feel like he's the guy or feel like he has that moment to be the guy for 82 games. I keep mentioning this, right? Can we agree that LaMelo Ball, if like they're on the same team, LaMelo Ball will let Westbrook shine, even if he's on the team?
My point is why?
I
He's
think
not
so.
good enough to shine. He's 34 years old next year. Why?
Bro, he's doing it for Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier and Mason Plumlee. You don't, bro, hoop jargon, stop. He's doing it for Mason Plumlee. You don't think he will do it for Westbrook for a year so this team can take another leap just for 1 year?
Why?
To take another leap. I'm telling you why. So the team can get better, so they can get a third star to build around LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges. That's why you're going to build around this team correctly. You're going to waste time. You're going to waste 2, 3 years, 4 years. Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, this team is going to be where they are right now for the next 2 or 3 years.
I'm just saying, like,
okay,
the positive spin on Westbrook is not happening, bro.
It's really not happening.
Again,
I think the Lakers would have been better
if
you swap out Russ with a Gordon Hayward. If you swap out Russ with a Terry Rozier, I believe the Lakers would have been
with
better.
a washing machine. You put a washing machine.
And why does
James?
And why does Melo have to reset? Why does Melo have to help everybody out? He got to reset everybody's career.
He's not helping anybody out. That's just a part of his game.
With Isaiah, he's already doing that with what's the guy's name? Trez. These dudes was like 1 foot out damn near on their way out the league. Let's just be real. This dude Isaiah just got handed the door on numerous stops. He come to Charlotte, they lock him up for the rest of the year. So
and he's played pretty good with LaMelo,
but he got humbled.
Westbrook on his way out.
Again, Russell Westbrook got humbled.
No.
Yes, he did. He got moody, bro. Everybody's calling him Westbrook. They're calling him Westbrook in the media. They're trashing him in the media right now. He's taking the most
accountability for it, though, bro.
It doesn't matter. He's taking the most media.
If you don't take accountability, you don't own it.
So but that's not his. Again, you're putting a lot of the blame on him. They never bought him in properly to this team in the first place. It's the Lakers' fault.
It's not just a Laker thing, dog.
It's the Laker thing. Their franchise is chaotic. They traded their whole team for AD injury-prone self. And you're kidding me? Come on, man. That's the worst situation to be in with LeBron.
Problems in Houston. The similar problems in
chaotic.
You can't. He been on
chaotic.
It had the same thing.
It's chaotic though. That was chaotic too.
He left OKC with that young team. When they were horrible, Chris Paul comes in and turns them into a playoff team. Because
they were a playoff team with Westbrook. What do you mean?
When they came in as a throwaway team when they got traded to the Rockets, right? We all remember that in context, right?
Huh? No, you talking about when he was on the Thunder? He made the playoffs with that garbage team.
They had Paul George there too, right? Paul George.
No, they had Oladipo in them, and they made the playoffs.
Well, no, not before he left. When he left. Paul George.
I want to get into one of those years too. I want to get into one of them years with Paul George, especially what he did, because you keep talking about what he did with the Lakers. What about what he did when he had Carmelo Anthony, when he was fresh off that trade from the New York Knicks? He still was in his prime. You had Paul George
in his prime.
That season.
He was not in his prime.
Yeah,
he didn't even go to the Rockets with James Harden.
In his prime.
Hold on,
and that wasn't.
He had one more year in him. That was the last year, man. And I'm telling you, listen, they blew it. They lost in the first round, and they tried to blame Carmelo Anthony for all of it, and to help him get out the league. And then I'm happy that Russell Westbrook is going through all his trials and tribulations, because they tried to run Carmelo out the league. I guarantee you, if Russell Westbrook get ran out, he won't be able to fight his way back like Melo did. I'll tell you that much.
Hey, no, but I agree with y'all points.
I don't want to be on this forever because we
that's what I was saying.
Get it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We all agree when it comes to Westbrook's game, right? My only argument here is just for the long-term success, just for the future, just for his contract and expiring contract. Just look away from the face, look away from Russell Westbrook, close your eyes, put some earplugs in your ears. $50 million in cap space going into 2023, 2024. That's all you need to know. That's my only argument here, and I'm done with that.
I'm with that.
Okay, the cap. Hoop jargon. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win the matchup? And we're not getting to the game yet. We just talking about these two players going at each other, LaMelo and Trae Young, in this first playing game that we got coming up. You know, what are these stat lines looking like to you, and who's gonna have the upper hand, LaMelo or Ice Trae?
Well, let me say this. I'm not a big stat guy. Like, I don't just rattle off stats and get, turned on by stats. What I want to see is how smart LaMelo gonna play. So I'm gonna be looking situationally, what is he doing to put his guys? Because in my opinion, Atlanta has the more the playoff season team, quote unquote. So, the Charlotte's coming in as the new guys on the block. So I'm gonna be looking for how smart he is situationally. Is he gonna outthink Trae? Is he gonna be the better leader? So I'm more interested in that part of the matchup.
Yeah, so that's what you're looking for. But if you had to bet, do you think LaMelo's gonna raise to the challenge, or is he still too young and he don't have that experience?
Hell yeah, he is.
Okay,
he's not afraid. Like,
what?
He's not afraid. And I know Trae Young not either. But at the end of the day, I'll take 6'7", not afraid over 6'1". I'll take that all day. So I think, every time people try to set LaMelo short, like he's not ready for the moment, he's always shown that, he's an AP student. He's ahead of the learning curve. So, yeah, just give him an opportunity. No opportunity too big for him, in my opinion. I've only seen that, everywhere through since Chino Hills. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to him stepping up and people just getting amazed again. Like, dang, I didn't know LaMelo was like that. He's going to show again he like that because he's not afraid of the moment, ever.
Big facts. I want to see him really call for some ISO plays and really see what he do to Trae. I mean, it's about matchups when it comes to playoffs. Even though this is the play in, but if they look at everybody on the court and say, okay, Capela, Bridges, y'all gonna do this, you're gonna do this. Melo, you got to kill Trae every time down. You got freaking 6 inches of height over this brother. Go ahead and just do what you got to do. Now, of course, Trae got the range and the handles, and Melo's defense is an A1, so they're gonna go tit for tat. That's why I asked. Is like I think that's the matchup to really look for because both of them got an advantage when the ball's in their hand.
Absolutely. But again, if you don't statistically wow me, I'm looking at a point guard. You basically are the quarterback of the field, so of the court rather. You got to know what everybody's doing. So I'm gonna be watching how is he surveying, how is he getting guys in position, how is he controlling pace, controlling the mentality of the team, in dire moments. That's more what I care about. But I understand what you're saying, as far as the individual matchup. I'm just not so pressed for that. I just want to see what is this dude made of because I know he got it in him. And when I see it, and I'll come back and say it, like, dog, it may be something insignificant to most people, but I watch stuff like that, and that really shows me what kind of player this is as it goes forward. So that's more or less what I don't have my eye keen to.
It'll be impressive if this first time going through this, LaMelo shows that maturity level, shows that skill, shows that IQ. I think it's going to raise a lot of eyebrows in the community because, like, a lot of people feel like he's just a flashy guy that doesn't result in wins, and that has got to stop. And I think this is where that is going to stop when we see that what you just described happen.
Absolutely, he gonna do it, man. He's done it every turn. Like, bro, I literally was arguing with dudes who do the NBA draft boards about LaMelo 4 years ago. I was like, dude, because they were hating on him because he's in the JBA. I'm like, listen, man. When I first watched LaMelo, I wasn't a big fan of being a Lonzo guy. And we talking about when LaMelo's like a sophomore. I was just like, those deep shots, I ain't love that. He's kind of wispy built. I was like, But when I saw him go to Lithuania, when I saw him take on more Lonzo's game and like being a facilitator and just basically, controlling, the game on a different level, I was like, okay, this dude right here is special. He gonna be special. So at every turn, he kept elevating himself, and I think it's gonna be another rung on the staircase, man. It's just with him showing what he's about. And again, moments ain't too big for him in ball facts. Like I know, LeVar always played him up. So this is just another chance where you think that I'll need this development time, and not really. Just give him opportunity to do it, and he'll do it. Because that's all he knows. That's all he knows. He's not afraid of moments. For what?
Big facts. I don't know if you guys seen that interview recently where LaMelo was saying, it was with Slam Magazine. He's like, our dad really had us believe when we was going to the NBA. We had no doubt in our mind that we were going to be in the NBA. We just believed it.
There you go.
probably
So
a
I hate
little
when people say, "Oh, you put pressure on him." Like, man, he put pressure on me when he was like 5 years old. Like, come
right.
on, man. Don't project your own stuff on them just because you think NBA is impossible, which the numbers do show. NBA is damn impossible. It's like 0.001% of people go. But that's not how LeVar, spoke to his kids. And that's all they knew. All they knew was success. It was no other doubt in them or other thought in their mind. And to me, there's just nothing wrong, like I say, on the staircase of just going to a high level. I don't see him not performing. I just don't.
And we already got LaMelo finishing out the season uninjured. His older brother, Lonzo, now is starting to get a stigma on him that he's injury prone. I feel like next year he's got to play the entire season. Like, he's got to play the entire season to kind of even just show teams around the NBA that he's durable and be effective and actually, get some experience going into the postseason. So I was looking forward to seeing what both of them did in the playoffs. And right now it's not certain that LaMelo's going to the playoffs. And we know Lonzo definitely isn't because he's injured. And I feel like the Bulls, they're not, without Lonzo, they're not who they used to be. And I got them only winning 2 games in this matchup against Boston. How you feel about Chicago going against Boston without Lonzo, hoop jargon, all that?
Man, Boston's playing at a very high level right now. With no Zoe, I just it's a no-go. No Zoe is a no-go. I don't see them. You know what I'm saying? It's just too much star power that Boston has, and they're so well coached. They're so well run. When they kind of came out of the depths of hell. If y'all remember, Boston started out slow. And going back to last year, man, Boston just was like, man, like they need to blow this up. And then, your man's, well, he didn't step down, but he steps up into a leadership position. What's his coach name? How's it escaping me right now? The brother name from Butler, the young boy.
Brad Stevens.
So they showed a level of maturity to get it all together. And those guys are ready, man. Those guys are ready. So I don't see the Bulls, again, missing a big part of what they are with is LiAngelo Ball. I don't think they have enough. They just can't execute well enough to beat Boston. And Boston, if we remember that they're battle tested already, as far as Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum is concerned, which are the leaders of that team. Yeah, I just don't see any way Chicago really, unless they just come and just lay an egg and they just got some dissension going on in the locker room that we don't know. I don't see this being a real series.
Gotcha.
I think y'all underrating the
though.
Bulls. Y'all underrating the Bulls, man. This could go 7 games, man. DeMar DeRozan MVP level. The only thing that's scaring me is like Zach LaVine. I know he's like playing injured. Hopefully when the playoffs come around, hopefully he can, be a little bit more healthy, play like he did earlier in the season. Alex Caruso. I mean, this team is deep, man. I don't know why we're saying, we're counting the Bulls out right now. They're still a good team. And I expect them to challenge the Boston Celtics a lot. So I expect it to go at least like 7 games. So
I think this is gonna be an epic series. This is gonna be a good series right here.
I'd be
Bulls
happy
versus
if it went
Celtics
7
is
games.
Bulls versus Celtics is historically always a challenging series every time.
Yeah, exactly. I want to go back on what Ball Facts was saying. Ball Facts, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, my bad.
You disagree, HJ?
No, I wanted to go back when you was talking about Lonzo, definitely with the injury prone labor. I think this year definitely hurts because I think even though he did go through his little 6 or whatever 8-week period, if he would have been able to recover from that, come back, go through the postseason, I think you kind of put to bed whatever was going on this season. People would have kind of glossed over it, especially if you was able to have a good playoff run. So that is unfortunate. So I'm with you with next year. Definitely, if not the full 82, definitely a nice helping of it. Upwards of 65 games. I think Jack definitely is something to be respectable. It shouldn't be no more than a minimal injury. Nothing crazy. It better be just a finger, some crazy something like that, flu-like symptoms. Those are the kind of injuries I want to hear if he got to sit out.
Yeah, and
that's
man, I was surprised because I kind of knew behind the scenes that Lonzo felt good. He was ready to play. So when I started hearing all the stuff come out about the medical team saying it's not good motion, not this and that caught me all the way off guard. I had thumbnails ready for his return and all kind of stuff. I was ready to go in, and that hit me kind of hard. Like, dang, man.
Yeah.
You know what though, Ball Facts? I'm glad people have gotten mature on Lonzo, and you're not getting that same rhetoric because it used to. I'm not gonna lie, it used to get me tight when people are like, oh, he made a glass. Oh, LeVar got him doing this, blah 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 blah. So people kind of just like, man, it's unfortunate, and I'm glad people are kind of seeing it for what it is, man. The dude worked hard on his game. He's gotten the way he's gotten, shooting exceptionally from the field, still being who he was already as far as facilitation and leadership and what have you. And he's added a part of his game that was, I mean, if we're being honest, a big glaring hole. And I think, people's kind of let up off of him. And I'm glad because he's shown that he's worthy of respect now. You know what I'm saying? And you just call him like, just ad hominems. Just, it was kind of a, Lonzo was a whipping boy to kind of get to LeVar. So I'm glad people kind of matured past that. I got to say that.
Plus, Chicago, I got to give the Chicago a little credit. Chicago is different than L.A. See, L.A. have been tainted by this whole stigma of LeVar. He's too harsh. He's this, and now they want to go at Lonzo. Chicago is a little different city.
Yeah.
And it's like when me and LeVar, we in Charlotte, we do the pop-up shop. It's cool. It's great. LaMelo comes through. It was cool. But the pop-up shop that we did in Chicago, that pop-up shop, the vibe felt different. They feel like LeVar is the uncle at the barbecue. It's a lot of hood people in Chicago. And they just rock with him. They really support Lonzo. They show love to him. They don't even think like, oh, your daddy this, your daddy that. I mean, they got crazy daddies too, or uncles, or no daddy. You see what I'm saying?
I can see that.
And Chicago really accepted Lonzo, and I seen it like even start to help his the narrative on him. You know what I mean? Like it's just people get hurt. Steph Curry, how many times his ankle get messed up? And was he wearing Triple B shoes? No. You know what I mean? How many times this person go out? So I will say you are exactly right. They're getting away from that old narrative about Lonzo and hating on him. And Chicago, even though I don't believe it's going to be a permanent place, it was a great pit stop for Lonzo.
Yep.
So y'all think like Lonzo gonna be one of those guys? He gonna play on a lot of different teams? There's 3 already.
That's kind of the thing now.
Once he get with his brothers, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
I remember Carmelo. I'm sorry.
Man, go ahead, finish.
No, I was gonna say I remember Carmelo Anthony said when he was bouncing around the league, he said it's almost like the norm nowadays in the league now. The way the league is set up now is set up for players to play on multiple teams. I'm not giving that as an excuse though, but I understand where Juju is coming from more of a traditional standpoint. I understand where guys look like they're journeymen. But I think nowadays you're gonna see more players just playing on multiple teams. This is how it's gonna be. I doubt
these teams ain't loyal.
But not some of your favorite players. I doubt to be on these teams, in the future. But go ahead, Ball Facts.
You're right. Like the teams aren't loyal. So why be loyal to these franchises? You know what I'm saying? They be in your face smiling, and you get injured. Now they looking at you different. You know what I mean? You don't produce a certain way, looking at you different. So I used to be like, man, stay with your team, and I do respect Giannis for doing that stuff like that. But I'm fans of players because these franchises, man, they'll switch up on your favorite player like nothing and have them playing for the Pistons, and you looking salty. You know what I mean?
That's
crazy.
It's interesting to watch because with me being a older cat, seeing how loyalty is like a big part of when you discuss what player is better than the next. And now this newer iteration of things, and that's why I said the Westbrook thing, 14 to 4 years, because that's kind of the line of thinking, as far as how you traditionally would, gauge a player. But when I look at the younger guys, the player movement is real. it's just, and it doesn't. You got to kind of rethink how you evaluate them. Again, we're talking to younger guys because it's just not the same loyalty. Guys are signing shorter contracts, and they are looking to, not necessarily re-up on that rookie contract. Whereas back then, it just was a given thing. Like you weren't leaving that rookie contract. Now guys are just like, yo, I don't really, I ain't feeling this, so I'm gonna move around. And it's just something it's real hard to kind of gauge things fully because it's just so different.
Hey man, I'm glad that I got 2 OGs on the show, you know what I mean? Because I'm finna go ahead and wrap the show up, but make sure y'all go subscribe to Hoop Jargon, go subscribe to Flight Sports TV. I rock with them heavy. We had a great discussion tonight about LaMelo, the Hornets. Are they ready? Hey, I appreciate everybody in the chat, and thank you guys for joining the panel as well. Juju left suddenly, but bro, you brought a lot of fire and flair to the game too. Thank you guys in the chat. Hey, and we almost at 100K. If you ain't subscribed, go
Yes,
ahead,
sir.
subscribe to the channel, get your boy that check mark. You know, we done been have over 40 million views. I think we coming up on them subscribers. So I appreciate all the love and support. And again, shout
Nice.
out to Hoop Jargon and Flight Sports TV. Ball facts again. Y'all know what it is. Peace.